Okay. Okay, okay, okay. New stream. Correct. All right. We are going to... What time is it? 10:02. Why are they not live? I'm going to make sure that we can see the chat.
Event ever that we've done here at FDN. And what we are doing in this discovery series is letting you discover FDN. You get to see what it's like to be a practitioner, what it's like to be a trainee, a graduate, all that good stuff, and everything in between. So we're super glad to be here with you guys. I'll give a second as everyone gets tuned in. Perfect. I see some numbers going up. Nice. If you are tuned in and you can hear me, please drop a hello in the chat. You kind of know the drill by now. Give me a hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you have somehow made all the sessions so far, I don't even know what number we're at. I guess this is 9. That would make sense, I think. Then drop a 9 out of 9 in the chat, or if you somehow know how many sessions you made out of 9, some people have been very good at tracking this. You can let me know that in the chat as well. For our lovely panelists today, I should have given you a heads up. I think everyone wouldn't know this except maybe Elizabeth. There is about a 30 to 60 second delay on Restream. So when we ask a question, or if you guys were to ask them anything for whatever reason, it will take about 30 to 60 seconds to come
someone streaming from her
let us know where
boutique.
you're tuning in from. Have you made all the sessions? We got a cool little double session for you today. We will stay on this stream and do this, and then this will be the only events that we're doing today for day 5 of the Discovery Series. So we're going to be doing this mentor roundtable. These are not graduates or trainees. I mean, I guess by definition, you guys are all graduates, but it's not the same as a grad roundtable. We're giving you an opportunity to meet some of our course mentors who are actively mentoring trainees in the course right now. So do I have questions for them? I 100% do. If you guys would like to ask your questions, I'm going to make the chat bigger. To hear from you, so please feel free to ask anything that you have. This would be different than the trainee and grad roundtables in that I kind of still ask my questions, but incorporate yours where I can. Whereas in this case, if you guys ask a question to these mentors, I will prioritize that because we'd rather hear from you all. Once we are done this mentor roundtable at the hour, we will move right into a course tour. So I want to say this correctly. It is a pre-recorded version of our course tour, but we are streaming it live. So we've done the video before, but we are streaming it live. We just couldn't manage to get everyone involved that was necessary to do the live portion of it today for you. So I'll still be here in the chat answering questions and all that kind of stuff. But the course tour, what that does is it lets you see into our world literally. Like you will actually get to see what does the course look like? What does it look like to log into FDN? What are the modules? What do I learn in each one? We're actually going to go through all of that so that you can see what typically only someone who's already enrolled and signed up for the FDN course can see. Again, the whole point of the Discovery Series is we want you guys to be able to make an informed decision. We've had many people already sign up in the last week, which is great. Normally everyone signs up like last second on Black Friday. So our biggest Black Friday sale is going well here. And then the last housekeeping things I will say is, what is the sale, Ev? It's $2,000 off the FDN course. You don't need a special code. Don't even need a special link. It has been live on our website since November 10th, and it will be live until the end of the day on December 1st. The end of our day is California time, so 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. If you hate time zones, it's just 11:59 at night.
It's $2,000 off, guys.
1st, that is when it will end, and it will be a little strict because we gave 2 or 3
Hi,
weeks
Stacey.
warning. So that is that. And then in terms of the replays, everyone's been wondering, can I get replays for this? I know that you guys typically do replays for your other events. Yes, and normally with other events, we have to charge. With Black Friday and with the Discovery Series, there is no charge for this whatsoever. The replays are, we kind of have a way that it's done for you a little bit nicer in a playlist, but technically speaking, they are instantly available after each live session is done. So please make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube. It's in the bottom right corner of your screen. You'll see a little click now to subscribe button. It won't show up for the mentors here, but it will show up for those that are live. And the reason that you want to subscribe is because under our live tab on our YouTube,
Dear God,
so not under videos, not under shorts,
get a
under the
freaking
live
microphone.
tab, you'll be able to instantly see what we've done throughout the week.
Come
if you
on,
need something to
dude.
do this weekend, please go check out the keynote by 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗶𝗴𝗏 that was done on November 10th. That was phenomenal. She went through like 5 or 6 different courses before finding FDN. And then, well, I won't spoil it. Let's just say she had a pretty darn fun month the first month that she was an FDN graduate. So I will stop us there. Hopefully that covers all the housekeeping things. I see a lot of people saying hello. Oh, a little shy today. We got to get some more people saying hello. And I know it's early. I know it's Friday, but let me know what's going on.
Dude, it's $2,000 off. If I pause it, I'll just speed it up to like 2 times speed and then we'll catch up. I did make the chat bigger right here so that we could actually like read it. I just cut this lady off a little bit because holy mother forking shirtballs. Do we have better? Oh, 1080. Let's go. $1.5.
Okay, first and foremost, we are going to go around and introduce ourselves because these are some faces that you might not have seen yet. Some of you might have seen Elizabeth, but Elizabeth, if you don't mind, we'll still go around with you. So everyone should see each other in the same order.
Welcome
here.
back.
So I see myself, Christina, Nicole, Kurt, and then Elizabeth. So that is the order that we will do these questions. So Christina, let's just start off with this. What were you doing before FDN, and how long have you been a course mentor? What were you doing before FDN, and how long have you been a course mentor?
Before FDN, I worked in financial services.
I'll star all this for later.
I worked in compliance. So I did both trading for a while. Then I did compliance for probably the last 10 years before moving into this field. I actually started off going to IIN, which I think a lot of our trainees have done. And it was good for coaching, but I really wanted to dive deeper. And I found FDN to have the full package of not just the education, but really how do I put all of that education together into something that I can use as a business. And then they also teach you how to actually turn it into a business. So it was pretty amazing. I've been a mentor since 2022. I think 2022. So for a while.
Awesome. Thanks, Christina. Nicole, we'll go to you next. It is such a rare day that I'm able to pull you out of stuff and get you on something. So I love being able to have you on this. Thank you for being here with us. So if you can just introduce yourself, let us know what you were doing before.
If this is so incredible, how come Christina has to run a boutique and do FDN at the same time? That's my question. We're catching up because I'm pausing it, so that's why it's a little fast right now.
For FDN, and how long have you been a course mentor?
But prior to FDN, I was a clinical and holistic nutritionist. I had gone to school for that, gotten a master's degree in nutrition, and done a lot of different trainings, like you were alluding to, the keynote speaker. But I was looking to go a little bit deeper with clients. I felt like, the general recommendations and health coaching tools that were given in these other training programs are great, but they only get you to a certain point. And I felt like I was looking to dive deeper with clients and really individualize the strategies and protocols I used with them. So that's what led me to FDN. And I have been a course mentor, I think, since 2022, like Christina. So about 3 years.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. All right, Kurt, you are next. And Kurt actually is a face that some of you guys might have gotten to see before if you've been on our 5 and 5 workshops or some of the other things. I feel like, Kurt, you're always down to be a guinea pig for these, so we really appreciate that. But if you could just fully introduce yourself, let us know what you were doing before FDN, and how long have you been a course mentor?
Sure. So I have been, prior to finding FDN, I was in the corporate marketing world for branding, so helping businesses come up with an individual identity. And while I was doing that, I was always meddling in the chiropractic world as chiropractic assistants and things like that. But I've always been fascinated with the whole health space.
You were meddling in the chiropractic world? What? Can we just match them? You were meddling in the chiropractic world? Did he literally just say that? Hello? Okay. Okay. Fuckery is afoot.
and I got introduced to seeing some lectures from Reed many, many years ago, but the timing was never right to actually join FDN and become an FDN myself. And it wasn't until a family member was having some chronic health issues, and I was seeing a lot of the medical gaslighting that she was experiencing that made me decide to, this is the route that I need to take. And once I became an FDN, I left that marketing world and the branding world, and I fully dove into the world of functional health and skincare and skin health. And I've been an FDN mentor for 2021, I think, 2021, around there, and love it. It's been a life-changing decision for becoming an FDN, working with FDN. It's been life-changing, not just for me, but everybody I've worked with, family members, friends, everything like that. So it's definitely a chain reaction that happened when I found FDN.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Kurt. Elizabeth, so for those that don't know, Elizabeth is here as our education director, but she also helps to kind of influence and structure a lot of the things that are happening in the world of mentors. And then, of course, you were a course mentor first. So, Elizabeth, for those that haven't gotten to see you somehow, if you could just introduce yourself, briefly let us know what you were doing before FDN. And then I can't even do this timeline. So let us know the timeline for your different positions here at FDN.
Oh, it's a blur now, but I'll do my best, Ev. So before FDN, I was languishing in the clutches of chronic fatigue. But that was caused by a decade of work at a nonprofit serving victims of domestic minor sex trafficking. So didn't have good boundaries. I needed to be needed. And
so you were doing really good work before, and now you're in potentially the schemasphere. The scamosphere? Maybe it's not a scam. Maybe it's just a super expensive, potentially downline, triangular prism scheme. Oh, wait, what did, Nick said, I keep forgetting what Nick said last night. Scam, we get to scam like an Egyptian ancient tomb. Right? We're playing it fast to catch up to live.
that led to severe physical symptoms. And
Good morning,
I had the
Vocal
experience
Fox.
that many of us have had, where I couldn't find answers
Oh.
in the standard medical world.
FDN stands for Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. So FDNP is a Functional Diagnostic Nutrition Practitioner. We went on a squirrel trail. Here's how we got here. Sorry, we're going to put them on pause. We got here last night because from Monday, Monation Monday, Monate Monday, number 46 in the world, Monate. She has not posted about Monate since 2021. However, she is number 46 in the world still, which is wild. And her first link is 𝗬�MD, which is GLP-1 injection, microdosing. And then 𝗧𝗍𝗏 was like, hey, guess what? Former number one in 𝗬𝗨𝐿𝐼 by 𝗬𝗏 is also doing 𝗬�MD. And I was like, what? So last night, we looked at current/former number one in 𝗬𝗨𝐼 was doing 𝗬�MD. And then she was doing these combo posts of 𝗬�MD and FDN. And she said, ask for the link for this course. And, you know, maybe we somehow got the link for this course. And we were watching this course via Squirrel Trail. And we heard from Detective Ev that watching this course, we were going to get the discount of a lifetime. We're going to get $2,000 off this course learning about functional diagnostic nutrition course. And we could become a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner ourselves. And if I buy the course through 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗙, who was the former 𝗬𝗨𝐼 by 𝗬𝗏 number one rep, she's going to get a commission. And then if I sign up and then give my link to somebody else, I'm going to get a commission. And then Kat's going to get a commission because I signed somebody up. And Kat's upline is going to get a commission Do you see what I'm saying? It's a trickle up effect. Good morning. So the squirrels have been squirreling, and here we are with our donuts and our coffee and our crafts and the scamosphere and Detective Ev. And the Detective Ev literally is almost on our FU list because he threw his dad under the bus. And on the live chat, someone said, "Oh my God, I met your dad, and he was the nicest person." And then Detective Ev had to backtrack because he was like, "Oh my God, my dad works as a lawn care person and smokes, and his skin is so leathery." And then someone in the live chat was like, "Oh, your dad's so nice. I met him in San Diego last month, and he was the best person." And the Detective Ev was like, "Oh yeah, he is. He is so nice, and I hope that he joins FDN." Okay, bud. Elise.
As Kurt calls it, medical gaslighting, where I was told it was just all in my head. So I found the FDN program, I went through and became a mentor in 2020, and then sort of worked my way up to my current position, which is education director. And it is really my pleasure to shine the spotlight on these beautiful mentors that are part of our program. They are the backbone of what we do in the certification course.
Go follow
They are
Savannah.
incredibly dedicated. They are well-trained, and I take a lot of pride in the program that they uphold.
Awesome. Quick follow-up that's relevant for you, just so people understand. We have more mentors than are just on today. Not everyone can make it, and also it'd probably be way too much to have everyone. So how many mentors do we currently have?
We have 10 currently, and we are actually in the process of hiring a few more.
Awesome. That's great. Really cool. So, by the way, I didn't tell you guys this. How we do the roundtables is I don't like to pick on the same person first each time. So we go reverse order. So Christina, don't worry, you get a break for this one. But Elizabeth, you're right back to it. So I would like to know, and there might be some redundancy in some of these answers. That's fine. I still think it's really important to hear. I'd like to know, what is the importance, in your guys' opinions, even as mentors yourself, what is the importance of the mentorship in FDN? Because there's a lot of online programs out there. This is not like uncommon now. FDN, ironically, was doing this online course thing long before this was a normal thing to do. I mean, he's been teaching this online.
I think this course is like $7,000, $8,000. Hello, Shelby. Yeah, this course is hella expensive.
I think since when he moved online 2010, 2011.
This is super fast. We're trying to catch up. We're like 3 minutes behind. Sorry. Let me slow it down. We're going to go at 1.35. Sorry. 1.3.
No one was doing online courses and curriculums back then. And so my point is, though, now it's super popular to have an online course. I know of almost none that provide one-on-one mentorship. At best, you can get group support, which we certainly have here too. But it's very rare that you find something that, hey, we're going to actually meet with you one-on-one, let alone meet with you one-on-one many times over what ends up being usually a 2-month period here at FDN while you're training. So why is that so important to FDN? Because I feel like this would be a completely different program if we didn't have that, and I think it might screw some people up. They almost need it here because of the rigor of the curriculum. So how do you see, or what do you see as the importance of mentorship to this program and the success that we have, Elizabeth?
What a great question, Evan. Thank you. So we do have an online course, and we don't have cohorts that go through because we want you to be able to go through at your own pace. So some of you want to like buzz through and become practitioners in the shortest amount of time possible. And some of you want to stay a little bit longer and marinate in the information. And we don't feel that we produce good outcomes by dictating how long that process should take. So we are committed to having a self-paced program. But we do want to make sure that our practitioners are the best practitioners out there, that they are the smartest practitioners in the room, that they are able to critically think, and that they have a process in place that is going to carry them through their entire career as a functional health practitioner. And
you know who can logically think through things and do the math and help solve problems and work with medical doctors in a meaningful way? Registered dietitians. Just throwing that out there. Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
And allow them to evaluate and get repeatable good outcomes on any health condition that walks into their virtual office or their physical office. And the compromise that we've made there is mentorship. And so you are always your first client in the FDN program. So you're going to run all the tests that you learn on yourself. You're going to be able to look at those results, be able to work with the protocol, and then you're going to have mentorship around your results because nobody is as interesting as ourselves, right? So that's always a great place to start. And particularly for somebody like me that came in with an intractable health issue, that was really critical to me actually overcoming it using the FDN methodology. And then I became a product of the product, as it were. And that gave me the confidence to go out and then say, if I did this for myself, I can do this for others.
Product of the product.
I've already had success. And mentorship is key to that, sort of walking through it with a mentor who says, yeah, and did you think about how this lab connects with this one? Or did you think about this part of the protocol and how you might be able to address this in a more multifaceted way? Now, on top of that, we really care about your clinical process. And we really care about the way that you are utilizing our methodology, because that's the thing that keeps you from having to reinvent the wheel every time.
Yeah.
You just do the process.
It was
you do the process
life-changing for me.
And not that every client is the same, because they're not. Everything has to be tailor-made to the client. But
Good morning,
Rach. You don't have to sit and think, what labs do I do with this person?
Doing well.
What kind of protocol should I run with this person? What do they need supplements? What for? Like you will learn sort of the whole process of that, but it takes some time. And
I'm wondering if they have to take a licensing test. No, it's all a test within their system. It's a test that FDN made up for the practitioners paying for the test. It's not a state test. It's not any kind of like test that's been approved by any board. It's just a test within. It's like an incestuous test. I don't know if that's the right term. It's not meaningful on any level, in my opinion. It's not like a registered dietitian test where you get to practice in the state of Texas because the test has been approved by the state of Texas so that you can practice as a registered dietitian in Texas or Tennessee or Rhode Island or California or Florida or Arizona or New Mexico, whatever.
Takes a critical eye of somebody who is seasoned in the methodology and somebody who is seasoned in teaching the methodology to make sure that you are getting it, and to make sure that you don't have blind spots, and to make sure that your critical thinking is on point, and to make sure that the method is coming together for you in a way that is going to make sure that you are the best quality FDN practitioner that you can be.
Well, that was an awesome answer. It did cover a lot. So again, there's no worry at all if there's any reiteration or redundancy in answers. Just curious for everyone here. So Kurt, we'll go to you next. I mean, how important do you think the mentorship is here, and why is it so essential to kind of make FDN what it is?
Do you know what percentage of trainees actually launch a practice versus gain info and healing from their own life? Oh, what a good question.
I think it comes back to the fact that it's an online course. Excuse me. And when you're in that online course, you don't have that touch point of that one-on-one connection with mentors or anybody to help guide you. It's online courses are typically watch this presentation, take a test, and then what you did with that is kind of up to you. The mentoring that FDN provides is giving you that real world connection. I'm always saying that you can have 3 FDNs in a room and you're getting 3 different protocols for the same person. And so the great thing about the mentorship is, like we've already said, there's now 10 plus mentors, and you get to see different perspectives. You get to see one of the live calls we have for trainees to attend is where we get to talk about supplements, and you get to see multiple perspectives of how they're making these recommendations. You get to see multiple perspectives of what they are looking for in lab testing or protocols or something like that. And so that mentorship is really valuable to where you're actually seeing that real world connection of how it comes together. Elizabeth had mentioned that you're going to be your first client as an FDN, and that is the most important part, because then it's very personal. It starts becoming very, there's an intimate connection for you at that point, because you're now talking about the pain points that you're experiencing and the problems that you're experiencing. And I think what makes great FDNs is the fact that there's so much empathy. When a client is working with another FDN, that FDN can be sitting across from them saying, I get it. I understand what you're going through. I've gone through a similar thing, and this is the journey I went through. So I'm going to, bypass that for you and just skip straight to what helped. Whereas if you went to any other health practitioner and said, I'm having these digestive issues or these period problems or anything like that, very rarely will that practitioner say, oh yeah, I get that. Me too. It's just you're another number, or you're another client, you're another number, and then here's a generic protocol that's given to everybody, and you're moving on, kind of just cattle calling them. So the mentoring just gives that opportunity for you to practice with somebody, to practice that real world.
Hey, guess what? You don't have to experience everything to respect that someone's going through something. You don't, like a medical doctor doesn't have to actually go through something to respect or to respect that someone's going through something. That's why they go to medical school, to learn about something. Not that every doctor has gone through something. And yeah, the more that they learn about something, whatever. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! This is the twisty part of FDN. They're saying that you have to go through something to be able to have empathy, to help someone with something. So, okay, the logic here is not logicking. Truly, it's not. What is FDN? Terry Lynn, welcome to fuckery. The squirrel trail has squirrel trailed into this potentially super expensive course. But guess what? When we finish this course, we're gonna get a $2,000 discount, which is incredible. I'm so excited because what a deal. $2,000 off? Wow. FDN is functional diagnostic nutrition. And so when we complete the course, when we complete this 3-week sales call, the 3-week sales call, we are going to be able to decide if we want to go through this course, sign up, and then tell other people about this course. And then I'm going to be able to make a commission off of them taking the course. And then when they teach other people about the course and they get other people to sign up, my underlings are going to get a commission, and then I'm going to get a commission. And then my upline's probably going to get a commission. Isn't that incredible? And I'm going to be able to help my clients with functional diagnostic nutrition, even though I have no medical experience. I'm going to be able to reference my books and give people nutrition advice. And I'm going to be able to be a guinea pig on myself and learn about all nutrition stuff so then I can help other people with their nutrition stuff, because I get to be a product of the product. Doesn't that sound incredible? Doesn't that sound so safe? I can't wait. I cannot wait. And we get to learn how to read blood tests and scans that the medical field is just super pumped about, like Dutch scans and other type of scans, and blood tests that doctors are super excited about. I don't know. I'm totally stoked about this. Ah, yes, I've always wanted to be a guinea pig. That's another animal we need. We need a little guinea pig running across the screen. We need one.
Implementation.
This is going live right now, but we're behind because I'm running my mouth. We might need to speed this up. 1.35.
Of the FDN approach, where you're not just reciting or parroting what you've learned, you're actually doing that critical thinking to try and think through what's going on. The best part about the mentorship program is you get opportunities to make mistakes. You get opportunities to kind of get corrected and course correction on how you need to make
in school. You would do that too.
From your practitioner coming out of it.
Awesome. I always love how you bring up because I hope people really caught that, especially the ones that are new this week. I know Dawn's on, so welcome, Dawn. She's still looking into the course and is trying to probably figure all this stuff out. Probably many people on here are. So you said that if you have 3 different FDNs in the room, you get 3 different protocols. That is, I hope people caught that, because that is not a bad thing. That is the point. Those protocols are all still going to work just fine. We're still going to get this person better than they've ever been in their life, which is great. But because we're not just saying, hey, here's some cookie cutter approach to your points, we're going to teach you how to think. It's kind of like the what's that fishing analogy, right? You give a man a fish, feed him for a day, teach him how to fish, feed him for a lifetime. I would say it's very similar here at FDN. Like, you learn how to think about these things so that labs can change, a supplement company can go out of stock or out of business, and yet we can still be effective as FDNs, which is really cool. So thank you, Kurt. Nicole, you are next. So what's the importance to you of the mentorships or the mentors here at FDN, and like, why is this so essential to our process and the success that we have?
Elizabeth and Rebecca, let me just do welcome to Illyria real quick. Thank you so much. Welcome or welcome back.
Horatio Gold, headmaster. So very pleased to meet you. So very pleased.
Hello, sir. Heard you wanted to see me.
I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to Illyria. Welcome, 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 welcome to Illyria. I just wanted to have you in to say welcome.
Welcome, 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 or welcome back. The Discord link is in the chat. 𝗧𝗿𝗶𝗴𝗏 just spewed it in there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Kurt said. I think for me, it's really turning theory into practice, because I've done a lot of online trainings, and you take the quiz, you listen to the module, you take the quiz, and you get a certificate. But you don't really know what to do with the information, right? It just all stays theoretical. And if you don't use it, you lose it. And so what I love about the FDN program is we really teach you how to take the course concepts and apply them in real life with people. And as you go through the course, like Elizabeth said, you're going to start your own client, run labs on yourself. We're, as mentors, going to take you through your own labs, make sure you understand how to interpret them and how to create a protocol for yourself. And then as you go through the course, you're going to do that 6 times before you graduate. And so by the time you graduate, you know how to work with a client in real life. And I think it also is about meeting you where you're at. So whether you're already a seasoned practitioner and you've been in practice as a health coach or a chiropractor or a naturopath, or whether you were in a completely different career, it doesn't matter. We as mentors can meet you where you're at, make sure that you understand the course concepts, and we want you to succeed. That's what we're here for. And I think that's what makes the mentorship very unique compared to other trainings, is that we can help guide you through. We want you to succeed. We're here to make sure you thoroughly understand the course concepts and can apply them successfully in real life.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. Christina, last but certainly not least, what about you? What's the importance of all this mentorship here at FDN, and why is it so essential to our success as practitioners?
I think one of the coolest things is that you do have that one-on-one time. What course do you take where you get one-on-one time with a teacher, right? Like, you can go to college courses, you can do all the online courses. You might get a group chat maybe, but this is like really one-on-one interaction. And like Nicole was saying, we're meeting you where you are. So it's usually like, so what did you do? How did you get to FDN? What do you think? How's it going? I came from a completely different background, so I often have people coming through and I'm totally new to this. I'm like, it's totally fine. You could still do this. And it is about taking extrapolated information, putting it into a cohesive package, and being able to walk somebody through that. And I just want to stress that we do teach supplements, right? But we also are talking about diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, such important pillars of how you change your lifestyle to improve your health.
Registered dietitians do this too. So if you think that registered dietitians are only telling you eat this, not that, you've never. The first time I met with Kat Benson, I met with her before I had my first surgery because I couldn't keep food down, and we were just trying to make it to the first surgery because everything was so messed up with everything because of where the lesions were on me. And I thought it was just going to be, I had no concept of what working with a registered dietitian was going to be. And it was it was nothing like I expected. And if you're on the fence about meeting with one, number one, if you're neurodivergent, find a registered dietitian like Kat Benson who has experience working with neurodivergent individuals. Your hunger cues may and more likely are different than neurotypical people. And I don't know, like, check it out. I would recommend finding a registered dietitian who has experience, again, working with neurodivergent individuals if you're neurodivergent. It's a game changer, and this this sounds terrifying.
And then we use that supplementation and teach our trainees, how do I apply supplements? How do I bring someone on board? And how do I help them come off of supplements? Because we're not trying to be supplement dealers. We want to teach you how to use them correctly. You're going to have a handful that you might use into the future, but you're also going to have a handful that you're going to use specifically to help you get back on track. And as mentors, right, we're able to really help make that transition of how do I go from sick to well care? How do I take all this information, put it into something and make it very specific and unique to a person, while it's still like a foundational program that really addresses all those 5 pillars.
Awesome.
Exactly,
Thanks,
Sarah.
I'm going to go to the audience really
Sam,
quick here, and
hello.
I do have to glance over to my computer, so I'll put the chat on the stream just so you guys can see all this stuff. Someone said my nerd brain will love that and hopefully heal some of my own autoimmune issues.
Okay.
Yes, I mean, obviously I can't make any claims there, but I will say this. You know, we have over 465 podcast episodes and counting right now, and there have been many FDN practitioners who have gotten on there. And again, I'm not making a claim. I'm just regurgitating their story. They had autoimmune symptoms. They no longer have the symptoms. So you make of that what you will. Kind of interesting. Let's talk about this. Do you know what percentage of trainees actually launch a practice versus gain info and healing for their own life? I don't have those exact numbers offhand. I don't know that. I mean, Elizabeth, you probably know better than me. We don't track that specific thing of how many people are going into each path, right?
No, we don't track that. We do have a professional
Of course
society that people who are serious about building a practice and building a business join after graduation. And I think we have somewhere around an 85 or 90% attrition rate of leaving the course and going into the professional community.
You
So I
don't
what that means in
know.
terms of people actually opening practices.
You don't know.
Yeah, and so if I had to guess a rough matter, it's so funny, I was reading the last name and my mind went to matter for some reason. A rough number, a rough estimate, I would say nowadays with who we're attracting, I would say at least 50% are at least trying to get into the practice side of things, if not more. And I think that's because of what we're doing on the front end. And for those who don't understand that front end, I mean like front end marketing, things like this. We're generally setting the stage for people that, hey, there's a really cool opportunity here.
They're all explaining like their experience with the mentorship side and what you're going to get if you join, the difference between what they offer and what you'd get from a online experience, and what you people who've already joined, and I think they're bullshitting with the percentages, in my opinion. So you haven't missed much. Mostly bullshit.
To do this as a practice, to do this as a business, it's one of the most fun journeys that you'll ever go on, because I wish people saw the business side the same way that they saw the health side, because they don't generally see these as identical. If I have a chronic health issue and I get to the point that chronic health issue is resolved, am I the same person once it's resolved as I was at my sickest? Everyone universally agrees that the answer is no. You are a different person now, a better version of you. You had to become that individual to get to that resolution. So we all like that kind of stuff. We like the challenge of figuring out health issues. We like the challenge of becoming someone better. Entrepreneurship is the same thing. And even though entrepreneurship is tough, I'd argue that it's significantly easier than overcoming chronic health challenges. I've been through both. I would choose the entrepreneurship over health challenges any day of the week. But you cannot become, or you cannot be rather, the same person if you have a multiple six-figure business where people are employed by you as you were when you did not have that. You have to become someone different. So it's a really cool journey. And the reason that's why I'm saying I think it's over 50% now, or at least trying.
You are a better person when you overcome your chronic health challenges. You're a better person. We don't call people names. We don't call people names. You're on my channel, we don't call people names. However, the one thing we are allowed to say is numpty, and we are also allowed to say chicken nugget, and we are allowed to say burnt chicken nugget. And we do put people on the FU list. He's not on, he is on the standby list. You are not a better person for overcoming your chronic health issues or even your health issues. You're just a person. And you have inherent value, and you don't have more value because you overcome your health issues. If you never overcome your health issues, I'm sorry because you are in pain for, your entire life, but that doesn't mean that you are less of a person than somebody else who never has had chronic health issues. Fuck you, dude. Come on, like, I don't feel bad for saying that. As someone who has chronic health issues, like, what an awful thing to say. I probably shouldn't have said that. I don't regret saying it.
To do that is because we're sharing messages like this and showing that this is not just something to get a paycheck. It's who you become in the process and who you get to impact in the process. So good question there. Probably gave you more than you bargained for. I'll go for, one comment and then one more question. I don't want to ignore that other question that got asked at the bottom. Melissa said the opportunity to meet one-on-one with mentors throughout the program and their incredible amount of knowledge and experience individually was one of the reasons I signed up for the course. Thank you very much for
I just
sharing.
want to shout out Melissa. She's an excellent trainee. She comes to a lot of live calls. She participates. She's in the Facebook group. She's really taking the experience and getting everything that she possibly can out of it. So good.
She's in the Facebook group. Does this not sound really close to an MLM? It sounds so much like an MLM.
Good job, Melissa.
Well, she's on all this too, so she's literally getting all of it that she can. So thank you, Melissa. You rock. We love having you. And then just a quick question, because I don't remember this being the case, but I'm an old enough FDN that I remember when our mentorship calls were one-on-one phone calls and not Zoom things. So are these recorded now or no?
Yes, they are recorded. You can absolutely have access to a recording of your sessions if you want it, and I highly encourage that. I find that a lot of trainees only record their personal health sessions, but I think all the practicals are valuable to be recorded, and I encourage that for every trainee.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I just remember Brandon Mpho calling me, I think it was Kentucky or whatever, and you get that awesome Brandon Mpho Southern accent. So yes, that's what I was doing back then. Okay, next question here. I think this is super important for the people that are about to consider getting into this course, or they already know that they're going to, but they're just going through some of the events still this month. Christina, we'll start with you for this one. I would like to know now, because you guys have all been mentors, or at least worked with trainees for a long time, multiple years. So you have done many sessions. You've probably seen certain characteristics in people that have had a lot of success with this stuff. They were prepared and ready to go. And then you've probably seen some characteristics or things that are like, oh, we could have done a little bit better here. So my question directly, Christina, is what would your advice as a mentor be to someone who's just starting off in this course to have the most success on their practicals, on their mentorship sessions? How can they best set themselves up from day one going through the course so that those sessions are as smooth as possible? Because I know nowadays, I love the training group. I would never take it away. It's just in anything in life, there's pros and cons. The only downside I can possibly see to the training group is people get so nervous now for these and they share it and then they make everyone else nervous. Like I didn't have that back then. Like no one was making me nervous because I didn't get to talk to anyone else except Brandon. So I never even thought to be nervous. And now I read some of this stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'd be a little scared if I saw some of these things. So how can they best be prepared, in your opinion, Christina, start themselves right from day one of joining the course?
I think the best thing to do is to go at your own pace. Don't rush the process. Sometimes I think that's one of the things that I see where people suffer is they're rushing through. And when they get to their practicals, they're really rushing through. And your practicals are where you get to take all the things that you've learned and put it together. It's also where you find out what you need to revisit. And I try to tell people that as they're coming through, just trust the process. As you are getting ready for your practicals, you're going to find out what you don't know if you use the outlines and go back and follow what the outlines are telling you to do. Don't get caught up in the Facebook group too much, right? Because I do think it can sidetrack you. I do have people coming in and they're like, I am so nervous. And normally I'm like, let's just take a moment. Let's just take a breath. It's always good for all of us just to pause for a moment and take a breath and just reset yourself and keep going, right? You've got to keep going, but don't second guess yourself. Don't overdo the work, right? So go through it. I think Elizabeth's recommendation is you go through the material once, you go back and re-listen. So just listening, right? Not trying to take notes, not doing all those other things. Then start the process. I usually tell people, give yourself about 10 days between each practical. That way you have time to prepare yourself. Don't get ahead of the game. Don't start looking at other practicals before you get done with the one you're working on. And then I also tell people, if you can, like take notes of where you found the information so that when you're ready to do your written, you can quickly go back to those modules, those slides, and fill in your answers. And you don't feel super panicked about now I have like this big written that I need to complete and not knowing where to find the information.
Awesome. Great tips. Thank you. All right, Nicole, what about you? So how can someone, they're just joining into the course this week or this month, how can they best set themselves up so that they are ready for these mentorship sessions and the practicals?
Yeah, I agree with Christina. Like going at your own pace is really key. I think not letting perfection be the enemy of the good. You don't have to be perfect. So many times trainees come in and they're so nervous because they think they have to say everything perfectly and not make a mistake. Don't be afraid to make a mistake. That's what we're here for. We're here to help you work through concept that maybe you're not quite getting, or if you miss something, that's totally okay. That's what we're here for. We're here to show you where your blind spots might be. We're here to make sure that you fully understand the concept. So I think that, and also to take advantage of all the resources that are available in the course. I mean, when I went through the course, like you, Evan, it was a phone call. There weren't, we have trainee study hour every week with Kurt and Elizabeth and Reed, where you can show up and ask questions and talk to your peers. There's the supplement squad call every month that Kurt mentioned earlier. There's a new trainee orientation call. There's lots of opportunities.
There's hot topics. Don't forget hot topics.
Staff one-on-one. Oh, hot topics. The one thing I hear from trainees, and I think you guys would agree, hot topics is everything, right? This is where Elizabeth meets with trainees once a week to go through each module of the course. And she has a very unique gift in being able to translate that information into a way that you can easily understand. So that's incredibly helpful to trainees. I've constantly heard that. So I think just be prepared, go at your own pace, take advantage of the resources, and just show up prepared, but also take the pressure off yourself. And it's okay if you make a mistake.
Yay. Yeah, let's
Thanks for mentioning that part about not looking for perfection. That is a common theme I see in the people that get nervous. And the reason that this matters a lot, Nicole, is because I see this more on the graduate side, because that's who I work with more. Yeah. And I'm always trying to help out with the businesses and all these things. And like, we'll get people on the calls sometimes that are like, oh my gosh, guys, I've done a bunch of sales. I'm not making fun of anyone. I mean, I actually feel bad, but they're like, oh my gosh, I've done these sales calls and no one signed up for my program yet. And I'm like, how many calls have you done? Right? I just start getting into numbers. How many calls have you done? Let's look at the data, whatever. 4. And I'm like, you've done 4 calls. Have you ever taken a sales call in your life before? No. So you've done 4 and none of them have worked out and you're distressed about this. And they're like freaking out. And guys, the reason that this same quality is so important to have in the course is because it's going to apply in entrepreneurship. I think many people that get into the world of FDN, some people are starting later in life. So they might have worked a job or a 9-to-5 for 20 years. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm working a 9-to-5 right now at FDN in a sense, right? Well, certainly a modified 9-to-5, that's for sure. But
the same types of words we're hearing, right? The 9-to-5. My camera's crooked. That's okay. Please don't judge me. How many calls are you doing? Right? I'm not saying because you're hearing all these things in a sales room that it's an MLM. I'm just saying, like, it smells a little bit like, when you're not sure if milk has gone bad and you have to take that second smell to make sure, and then you're about to turn the milk over to see if it's expired. That's the feeling I'm having right now when I'm watching this.
Call it a 9-to-5. It's not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just that in that setting, I'm not allowed to be wrong 50% of the time at FDN, right? Like, they're nice people, they like me, but like, if I was wrong 50% of the time in my job, that's a problem, and I might not be here anymore. Whereas in entrepreneurship, I could close 25% of my sales calls, which everyone always forgets this part. That means 3 out of 4 people that get on with me say, no, I don't want to do this. 3 out of 4 do that.
Hi,
and I'm still a successful
Arlene.
right? So you, especially if you're planning on doing the business side after this, forget perfection. There is no perfectionism in business. Does not exist. You can try to the best of your ability. That'll never happen. And if you're somehow closing or selling at 100% rate, then you need to be on the lives, because I want to learn from you. No one's doing that. So you got to give that up and learn to make progress and improvements and not perfection. So thanks, Nicole. By the way, you can't get a 25% on the practicals. You do have to do a little better than that. But you can do that on sales calls once you're done.
You know what's also interesting? There is a board that keeps registered dietitians accountable, and there's no board to keep FDN accountable. So if the practitioners fuck something up with their customers, their clients, who's going to keep FDN accountable? Nobody. Who's going to keep multi-level marketers accountable anywhere? Nobody. There's somebody to keep the registered dietitians accountable, and that is peace of mind. There's people to keep medical doctors accountable. That's peace of mind. Nobody's going to keep FDN accountable. Except people on YouTube trying to say, what the heck is going on? Somebody asking questions. right? It seems pretty important when we have someone saying functional diagnostic nutrition. Somebody is looking into saying, hey, let's look at your blood test and give you this supplement. Hey, let's look into this whatever. Let's do these and then say, you need to take this and this and this because of this, this, and this. And I'm going to do it because I've done this course and there's only tests within this course and there's no governing body to keep me accountable. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Sounds great. What? Hello?
Good to go. So Kurt, what about you? What piece of advice or pieces of advice would you give to someone who's just starting this training? They want to be as prepared as possible for all the practicals. What have you seen that allows someone to be truly successful and ready for those things?
The successful component to it is, like Christina was saying, the go at your own pace. And I feel like it's a common theme because Nicole validated that as well. But, don't compare yourself to how other trainees are going through the program. Some may go through a lot faster. Some may go through a lot slower and take their time with it. You go at your own pace. And that's the great thing about the FDN program is we really cater to everybody's learning style. And so for me, going through high school and grade school and stuff, I had dyslexia for math. So numbers were really goofy and backwards for me. And so I had a very unique learning style. And the thing that I found going through these other programs, because I've gone through many coaching programs over the years, is they have that very direct, this is the material and you need to chew it up and digest it. And that's it. FDN provides so many different resources like Elizabeth with Hot Topics, like these other live calls that we're doing, where it caters to the many types of learning styles that are out there. So not comparing yourself to the pace that another trainee is going through the program, doing this at your own pace, but taking advantage of those resources. Because I have met trainees who haven't taken advantage of the live calls that we have. We have live calls every week and multiple live calls every week. So there are so many touch points throughout this program where you're actually talking to other people in the program and talking to people that's helping to facilitate the program. And that's the thing, is take advantage of the resources.
There's so many trainees who are not showing up to the Zoom calls where you could be taking advantage of it and you're not. Go back to MLM. There's so many of y'all who are not showing up to the Zoom calls who could be getting help, and then y'all could be going out and actually getting recruits and you could be making money, but you're not showing up. And that's your fault. Does it sound familiar? Does the high control tactic sound familiar? Am I being awful?
That you have. Don't compare your progress to other people, and really dive into, like, the Facebook group is a great place for trainees to connect. Dive into those groups and start trying to answer questions. And other trainees, everybody's going to ask questions on there, right? So dive into it, trying to answer those questions, be engaged, because that's going to also be how you learn as well. And I think the big thing to take from the course is that especially when we're talking about these one-on-one practicals and stuff, is the goal is to leave that session feeling more confident and empowered than when you began that session an hour prior. And that's what everybody's really getting from this, is they're leaving it feeling much more equipped and ready to go to the next step. Like Christina had already mentioned, don't jump ahead to the next part. Don't put the cart before the horse, as they say, because you may learn components that you need in order to be successful at the next phase of it. So that's my pieces of advice.
Awesome. Thank you, Kurt. Elizabeth, we'll do you next. So you've obviously been a course mentor, but also have a whole different perspective to getting to probably hear from a lot of the mentors on a regular basis. So I'd love to know your opinion on this. Like, what do you think would be a great way to set someone up from day one? What should they be doing and looking for to make sure that they are ready for these mentorship sessions and the practicals?
Absolutely. So I want to concur with what everybody has said, that go at your own pace and don't expect perfection out of yourself. Don't let perfection get in the way of the good. Just starting gives you momentum. You can sit there and look at the practicals for months, but if you schedule the first one, then that gives you the momentum to just keep going and going and going from there. But I think also an important aspect of this is I want you all to reframe your relationship with nervousness. Nervousness is a byproduct of growing. We cannot stay comfortable and grow. We cannot stay in this season. It's not going to carry us through to where we want to go. I know all of you have big missions on your heart. All of the trainees who show up to the live calls, everybody that I interact with, you have big missions on your heart. You want to write books. You want to be on stages. You want to have practices that are flourishing. You want to work on your own health so that you can be present for the people that you love. You want to be a contributing member of good in the world. So this version of yourself that is comfortable with where you are isn't going to carry you through to the next season. You have got to grow. And that comes with being uncomfortable. that comes with embracing the challenge of actually widening your channel, of actually getting into the muck of things that formerly scared you, of actually getting critique. That's a scary thing. That's an uncomfortable thing, just naturally. And that is okay, because it is through this nervousness that we are going to get to this discomfort stage. And that is how we earn growth. That is how we win this game.
Awesome. I think I've already told you guys this week, I got super into personal development at 18. And Elizabeth, it brings up a quote. I can't remember who said it. I think it might have been Bob Proctor, but it doesn't matter. The person said, if it makes me nervous and excites me at the same time, I know it's the right thing. Right? Because there's some things that just blatantly
it's the same nervous system frequency. Being anxious and being excited are the same nervous system frequency. So you can just decide to call it, instead of anxious, you can just decide to call it excited. It's the same thing. Yeah.
And guys, I swear, because I know that there's some people out there that are very anxious people. That is me at my core. Regardless of how I present now, I have family that will verify this for you. Probably the most anxious person, most of them.
Feelings are information. They're signposts for core values. And you don't need to just say, I'm feeling these things, and so I need to do this. It's just information. And so you can talk to your therapist. I'm just saying, when growing up, I thought that feelings had some type of morality attached to them. They're just information, okay? And it was a game changer when I learned that, when I was in outpatient and partial hospitalization, and understanding what my core values were, but being able to say this is information and it is separate from morality. I'm not trying to be a therapist, so set that aside before judging me. Them saying, oh, you're feeling these things? You need to do this. No, you can decide for yourself. Are you inside your window of tolerance? You can then decide what you want to do with that. Do you want to do something like this? Do you want to do something like that? Does it align with your core value? If it doesn't align with your core value, then don't do it. And especially, don't sacrifice your core values for something in a scam or multi-level marketing company, because I will tell you the regret I feel from stuff I did in MLM because my upline talked me into stuff that I didn't want to do. Hell no. Now, do I know stuff more now? Like, do I know stuff now that I didn't know then? Like 10 years later? Hell yeah. Do I give myself some grace because I was like a lot younger then? A little bit. But I would like to, I like telling y'all now. I like at least speaking up now because maybe someone younger can maybe stand up to their upline and say, no, I'm not going to do that because who I am as a person and what I believe in as a person is more important than you getting a commission check, you getting commission off of me, or me sacrificing who I am for what you want to do. You know? Sorry, this strap is like, I just want it to be supportive of whatever someone's going to put in this market bag. Sorry.
I've ever met at one point in my life, but it is a muscle. So when you learn, like you said, Elizabeth, to reframe it, or just, hey, I feel the nervous, we do it anyway.
Yay!
Like that was,
I love that, Sarah.
Don't let that stop us. I can feel something and experience something without allowing it to dictate what I'm going to do. It's like when people say, I don't care what people think. No, of course you care what people think, but you're not letting it dictate your actions anymore. You can have that same relationship with nervousness when holy cow, I'm so nervous to go speak to these kids, whatever, who knows what they're going to do today, and I'm just going to do it anyway. And when you tell your body enough that that's what we're doing, it's a whole different experience. And even when you do get nervous, you can overpower it. And what you'll find is a lot of the time,
you don't need to overpower it. Nervousness or information. There's signposts for core values. I want to bring the best I can, or I want to bring excellence. Excellence is a core value. Can I bring myself back into a window of tolerance so that I can bring my best to this task? How do I bring myself back into my window of tolerance? Can I do box breathing? Can I get some of my nervousness out by exercise? Can I visualize? Can I put my emotions potentially in a box for later and put it on a shelf? Can I whatever? Those are not me being a therapist. Just do what you do, whatever your therapist recommends. I'm saying there's a range. There's a window of tolerance. Crying is regulatory. It can bring you back into a window of tolerance for anger, for fear, for anxiety, for whatever it is, for whatever emotion.
Can just be looked at as excitement, or you just don't feel that way at all. It's not as extreme as it once was. So great stuff there. I see a bunch of questions and comments that came in. So let's go to them. Jenny said, Elizabeth is so fire, so much good stuff right here. Yes, she's fired up today, baby, that's for sure. Are there weekly calls? Let's highlight this one, excuse me. Are there weekly calls designed to help learning at this stage, or will that cause unnecessary distraction for some students? Just want to be clear. What stage? I'm sorry.
I can take this. I understand what you're saying. Yep, I got you. Is that Jenny? Yeah.
No, this is OB958.
Oh, OB958. I totally understand your question. So all of our calls are considered support calls. They are not synchronous learning elements. They are not required for you to come every week and learn. But we have every week a broad-ranging Q&A that Kurt and I and Reed attend. And Reed, as the founder, has been doing this for 18 years. He still does this every Friday. So if you have that week a specific question about the course concepts or something that you want to talk out with your peers, come to Training Study Hour and ask that question. If you are going through Module 5 and you're like, I just wish I had like a different perspective on Module 5, you can go back to the recorded Hot Topics on Module 5 and you can listen to that and say, oh, okay, now I understand. I got that. I have a better picture of it now. So those resources are designed to be supportive, but not necessarily holding you at a certain place. Like, go at your pace and use the live calls as support as needed.
Cool. Thank you. Great. Other comments or questions here? Oh, I wanted this one so badly. So unsure, already a practitioner, and been through IIN and others. The hang up I'm feeling right now is that my personal health stuff is not completely resolved. So how will I help others? Well, there's probably a lot of comments here. I have to start with this only because I went through IIN first.
My doctor, my pain interventionist, the one who did my back procedure, he has chronic pain. He can still do surgery because he trained and did his internship and did his fellowship as a medical doctor. And he also has chronic pain. So he can still help people. And he is also under the medical board, so if he does something wrong, he gets, what is it called? He gets, what is it called? Slapped? He gets in trouble with the medical board. There's nobody keeping any of them in line. He can help people even though he has chronic pain. What?
I felt the exact same way. So, by the way, I actually like IIN a lot. I do like the fact that they introduce you to so many dietary theories. I think they present very well. I think they have an awesome way of presenting. They have amazing speakers. And then, of course, they teach you a lot on the coaching side. Now, there's a balance here because do you have to be in perfect health to help someone else?
Peer reviewed.
No, you don't. With that said, and I'm sorry, this might not be a popular answer. I'm not speaking on behalf of FDN or any of the other people that are on this call right now. I'm speaking on behalf of Evan Transu. I think sometimes imposter syndrome is just because, yeah, you haven't figured it out yet and you don't feel like you know enough. And there is a time and place where that needs to be dismissed, and there's a time and place where it's practical. So for me, I had severe cystic acne.
Want to campsite
when
that
I finished
to me?
up IIN, it did help that a lot, but I still had some cystic acne, and unfortunately, I didn't have the beard at the time, guys. So it was pretty obvious. White as mayonnaise. I couldn't really hide that. You can call it imposter syndrome. You can call it limiting beliefs. Maybe that's all true. But guess what? I didn't want to coach people on acne while I still had cystic acne. I could deal with a little breakout here and there. It didn't seem an integrity to me to be coaching on that when I still had some myself. So FDN was that thing that took it to the next level because FDN allows you to go as far as you need to go. It's not that we're saying that we have the perfect system. We don't, but We recognize the imperfections and account for it. So what does that mean? We have our 5 foundational labs that you're going to learn about and be taught in the course. That helps everyone to some degree. So some people, I've seen them 100%. That's all they ever needed. That was 100% better from doing the foundational labs and the protocols. Many people I see 60, 70%. Now, if you go to another program, the problem is if they get you 60, 70%, it's, oops, sorry, that's it.
They have labs that they have people buy. So all of the labs that they recommend, you buy them and the labs get sent to your house. Or not sent to your house. You go like to Quest Diagnostics or wherever, and you get the blood drawn, and then the blood gets sent out to do like the Dutch, whatever. And then those get sent to wherever, and then you get the papers, and the papers get sent to these people, or you email them to these people, and they read them for you. And then based on those tests, these people tell you what you need. So they tell you, you need this supplement, you need to eat this food, you need to sleep this much, you need to do this exercise, you need to blah, blah, blah. They're also saying, allegedly, that they don't recommend that you take certain supplements for the rest of your life. They tell you, you need to take... They allegedly tell you, fat-soluble supplements or fat-soluble vitamins you shouldn't take forever, which good for them. So they're kind of, in my opinion, doctor, in my opinion, functional medicine doctor, in my opinion. I'm sure they wouldn't call it that. They would call it functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, because that's what they say. So, they do the labs, they read the labs, then they do the nutrition stuff, which includes supplements and food and exercise and blah, blah, blah. Liquid, sugar, yeast, the same type of stuff that we see in health and wellness, multi-level marketing, allegedly super crunchy stuff. Kind of, yeah. Kind of doctor nurse.
Here in the graduate group, it's like, okay, welcome to the party. We were just getting started. So we have these clinical advisors, we have this advanced training, we have this webinar that we did, we have this 70, 100 labs that we can choose from to go take you to that next step. So you got that last 20, 30, 40% that you need to work on? No problem. You have some of the best minds in the world in this space that are waiting for you in that graduate group, the clinical advisors that you can book in with, and all of these advanced trainings so that you can dot those I's and cross those T's. So where other courses stop.
The best minds in the world? Ev. The best minds in the world? That's a stretch, my guy. No shade to them. That's a stretch. The best minds in the world? I disagree wholeheartedly. The best minds in the world? You're saying the best minds in the world are doing FDNP and I'm gonna cry. They're not in the medical... Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. They're not in the research space. They're not in the medical space. They're not in the engineering space. Oh my God. they're not moving the needle forward in terms of making structures better to stand up to earthquakes. They're not moving the needle forward in making medicine and surgeries better so people can like live with disease that would normally have like it wouldn't have been possible for them. For example, AIDS. Yeah, does our healthcare system, is it fucked here in the United States? Sure. Could some people with better minds figure that shit out? Yeah. Oh my god. He's like on the #1 spot for the FU list. Like, oh my god. Why do I need to regulate myself? I'm angry. I'm like on the upper side of my window of tolerance. I'm like out of it a little bit.
We basically just get started. That's when some of the deepest healing can occur. We're going a little rogue. That's what we do. Sorry, with Ev Lives, you guys know this. So whoever wants to add to this, because I know that someone's going to want to add something, please feel free. But I'm going to pause here. Not all at once, though.
You know, that question resonates with me too, because I mean, as you know, I've gone through a lot of health issues, and I remember feeling that years ago when I was very, very ill, and I was in a wheelchair for a period of time, and I couldn't function very well. And I remember a mentor of mine saying at the time, "Well, can you wheel yourself in to see your client?" I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, wheel yourself in. Like, can you help? You don't have to be completely healed to help somebody. You just have to be ahead of where they're at." And you can, and I found that as I started to work with people when I wasn't completely healed, you know, that I was still valuable to them. I still helped guide them and push them along their healing path. And a benefit to myself that I found doing that was that it took me out of my own health issues, right? Because I was focused on someone else for a period of time and I wasn't, you know, ruminating in where I was at. And I think there's healing in that as well. So what I would say to you is I totally understand how you feel that way. I think all of us have felt imposter syndrome in some way, shape, or form at some period of time, but you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be ahead of where your client is at.
That is true. So, by the way, I do agree with that, Nicole. To counter my own point about like, well, maybe you should feel imposter syndrome at some points. There's this gentleman, Ethan Bernard. He's being actually coached by my friend Joey. They're both huge social media influencers. My buddy Joey's a strong man, and I'm a 6 foot male, so I'm tall enough. I look like a child next to him. He's like 6'5", 260, 270 most of the year. It's like a different species, quite frankly. And Joey is coaching Ethan. Now, here's what's so cool about Ethan. You guys can look him up on Instagram. Ethan is helping more people than me. He's probably definitely making more money than me. And Ethan is 460 pounds still. But you know what Ethan started doing on his Instagram and his YouTube? He started posting when he was 600 pounds. And he's 6'5". So, I mean, still, you know, overweight, but not necessarily what you'd expect if someone was like 5'8" at that weight. And so he's sharing that entire journey. And what's so interesting about him, to your point, Nicole, about like how you just got to be a step ahead.
Ooh, lost him.
All right, we're back. I was just going to say, Ethan objectively is, and I mean it respectfully, is overweight, right? He's still overweight by anyone's standards. But because he has shared that journey and been transparent, do you know how many people reach out to him for help with the weight loss journey just because he's been willing to share that? So that is probably the biggest counter I can give to my own thing about feeling imposter syndrome, is that there's this gentleman, Ethan, out there who, by all accounts, is still very overweight. But because he's on that journey.
How many times do you have to repeat this, my guy? And let me say this. You have to make the best decision. You have to make the best decision you can for yourself with your medical professional if you have access to a medical professional for you. For example, I use a walker. I don't use it as much as I did. I'm grateful that my health is improving. At the beginning of the year, well, 2024, working with my mobility guy, holding myself up on my walker, difficult because of my weight, or the strength of my arms, difficult because of my weight. So working on core, working on strength in my shoulders, just overall working on my strength in my arms, it's a twofold thing. Do I reduce my overall weight? Do I strengthen my arms to support the weight I was at? Both. Work with my doctor. My good doctor retired. My new primary care doctor, awful. Trying to find new doctor. However, that's for me. That's my numbers in my blood work, great. Literally great. Blood pressure, great. Cholesterol, great. Like literally all the things, great. So it has been, those are things I was working on with my medical professional, and I had another surgery. Then I had another surgery. Then I had another surgery. So it's like I had two goals with my medical professional and my mobility guy. It's not me saying like, oh my God, judgmental about other people or myself. It's like lots of my things are super healthy right now. And I also, two things are an issue for my mobility in terms of being able to like move out in the world. So can I strengthen my arms? Can I do this other stuff? Hello! Maybe Detective Ev is on the fuck you list. Maybe he's on the junior fuck you list. Should we have a junior fuck you list? Live chat. Should there be a junior fuck you list? Second the motion if we should have a junior fuck you list. Or should there just be one fuck you list and Detective Ev is on it? Or should we have like a, kind of like minor league? Oh, a minor league fuck you list. Major league fuck you list, minor league fuck you list. If you're not familiar, baseball, minor league before you go to the major league. I know that there's lots of minor league stuff. There's like all of the different A's. He's already a full grown. Minor league. Minor. Yeah, I think we should have major league and minor league. We need to get some baseball, like, and this guy's in the major league. Okay. Okay, we're updating. We have major and minor league fuck you lists, and he's in the major league. God. Bruh. My guy. I think I made the strap too long. So this might be in the discounted. This might be in the discounted section. Okay.
Willing to share it and be very vulnerable. People are like, I like that guy. I can learn a thing from him. I don't need him to be at the destination yet. I just like where he's going. I like the path that he's on. So great point there. I want to make sure we get to all these. Let's get to a question for everyone. Can you go into a bit more detail about how the hot topics work? Given that everyone is at a different place in the course, is it that the questions from anywhere in the course are asked? So of course, Elizabeth, goes to you.
Yeah, great. So we have a support call called Trainee Study Hour every week where you can bring any question from the beginning of the course to the end of the course and get it dealt with. But we also noticed that there was a need to go deeper into individual course topics, and that is how Hot Topics came about. So you might not be where we are in Hot Topics. That's okay. Come anyway. Learn from the questions that are being asked, even if it's material you haven't gotten to yet. And we record all of them, we catalog them, we archive them with the module that they pertain to. You will eventually surpass where we are live. That is just what is going to happen. And when that happens, you can then join us and be ahead of where we are. You can also then dip back to any of the previous recordings. We've now been through the course 3 times, so we have an archive of 3 times through the course where you can go back and listen to the episodes that pertain to modules that are ahead of where we are live. So that's how that works. But you're welcome to join at any stage. And for those trainees that are here on this session who do come to Hot Topics, please chime in about whether or not it is helpful to attend Hot Topics when you are maybe behind where we are in Hot Topics. If that has actually helped you to, when you did get there, you had a little better grasp on it, or you were seeing how things were connecting before you actually got there. So just throw that in the chat.
Elizabeth, just so you know, I'd asked on the grad and training roundtables, we did 4 of those total in the last 4 days. One of my questions is, I say, what's a pleasant surprise that you got while going through the course? Like something that you didn't know that you were going to get or weren't expecting. And by far, the most common answer was that they love Hot Topics and weren't expecting to get so much out of that. So really cool there, and these folks all got to hear that this week. I'm going to go to these next questions here, but Elizabeth, real quick follow-up. If I'm not mistaken, didn't you just start Hot Topics over again recently?
Yeah, last week.
What a great time.
Oh my God. Sorry. Sorry, I did it again. I'm gonna go back. Sorry. This is where we were. Sorry. Bad DeeCee. Bad, 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 bad. Ah! Oh my God. Okay. Sorry.
Question from the beginning of the course to the end of the course and get it dealt with. But we also noticed that there was a need to go deeper into individual course topics, and that is how Hot Topics came about. So you might not be where we are in Hot Topics. That's okay. Come anyway. Learn from the questions that are being asked, even if it's material you haven't gotten to yet. And we record all of them, we catalog them, we archive them with the module that they pertain to. You will eventually surpass where we are live. That is just what is going to happen. And when that happens, you can then join us and be ahead of where we are. You can also then dip back to any of the previous recordings, because we've now been through the course 3 times. So we have an archive of 3 times through the course where you can go back and listen to the episodes that pertain to modules that are ahead of where we are live. So that's how that works. But you're welcome to join at any stage. And for those trainees that are here on this session who do come to Hot Topics, please chime in about whether or not it is helpful to attend Hot Topics when you are maybe behind where we are in Hot Topics. If that has actually helped you to, when you did get there, you had a little better grasp on it, or you were seeing how things were connecting before you actually got there. So just throw that in the chat.
Elizabeth, just so you know, I'd asked on the grad and training roundtables, we did 4 of those total in the last 4 days. One of my questions is, I say, what's a pleasant surprise that you got while going through the course? Like something that you didn't know that you were going to get or weren't expecting. And by far, the most common answer was that they loved Hot Topics and weren't expecting to get so much out of that. So really cool there. And these folks all got to hear that this week. I'm going to go to these next questions here, but Elizabeth, real quick follow-up. If I'm not mistaken, didn't you just start Hot Topics over again recently?
Yeah, last week.
What a great time to join FDN, folks.
I know, right? I know.
We got to plan that on purpose next time, because it's pretty good.
It's but we go. This is another thing, is that we don't go at my pace. We go at the pace of the group. So
Sure.
when we get through a module, we vote and we say, hey, is everybody, like, are we done with this module? Are we ready to move on, or do we want to spend more time here? So it is very much driven by the participants.
Mm-hmm. Bethany, great question here. I'm a stay-at-home mom with one kiddo with me at all times. Would it be better for me to start the program when all kids are in school and I have time to myself? I'm certainly not a stay-at-home mom, as you can tell, but I can answer this only because I talk to so many people like this. We had, I don't think you were on our grad roundtable 2 days ago. So not only do we have stay-at-home moms that were going through or that had gone through the course while being stay-at-home moms, one of them had 3 kids and one of them had 5. And if I'm not mistaken, one of those, I mean, they're both a lot of kids regardless, but one of those mothers was homeschooling too. So when I answer this, I don't think it's about, oh, can you just do it with one kid? I think this is about your unique situation, right? And I'm not trying to be extreme here. You didn't suggest anything like this, but there would be a difference between a kid that maybe needs a ton of support every day versus a kid that, you know, is kind of chilling, plays on their own, and is hanging out. I would probably imagine that there's a huge difference in the experience for the person that's watching them. Objectively, no, you absolutely do not need to be having that kid in school to go do this. We have a ton of moms that are stay at home and doing this at the same time. But I do think that's a unique question for you, where let me flip that actually. Do you have at least 30 minutes a day, maybe an hour a day, that you can dedicate truly to you time to learning this? Because if you can do that truly, then yeah, you'll be done within a year of the FDN course. If you're at a point in your life right now where you're like, I took an honest look at this, I really cannot even give myself a 30-minute period a day where I get that time for me, then unfortunately I'd have to say that that'd probably be pretty, I think you'd be adding a lot of stress to your plate because it'd be very hard to finish within 12 months if you can't even do that. And then you're going to have that thing in the back of your head like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to need an extension. I'm not finishing fast enough. I'm not retaining all of it because I've learned it so spread out. That's my opinion. Did anyone here have any situation like that while going through the course? I'm not sure if that'd be relevant to anyone here or something similar, but anyone on the panel have an answer for this?
I mean, I wasn't a stay-at-home mom. Oh, go ahead, Christina, please.
I was working full-time. I had little kids. And I was doing the program.
Stay-at-home mom.
If you want it, you can make it happen. As a mentor, we have so many people coming through, kids, pets, you name it. It's all going on in the background. It's fine. You can, if you want to do it, you can do it.
I needed Christina's answer. That's great. She's like, hey, just do it. It's all good. You got it.
We have so many trainees who are in the same boat, is what I wanted to say, is that they have full-time jobs, they have families, they have a lot of commitments, they have a lot of responsibilities, and they're just carving out an hour a day. I think we did the math the other day, and we think it takes approximately 220 hours to get through the course. That includes watching the modules twice. That includes doing the quizzes. It includes study time for the practicals. Like all of it's about 220 hours. So if you did an hour a day for 7 days a week, it would take about 8.5 months to get through.
Gotcha. Well said. All right, listen, guys, I want to do this because I know our mentors, they're very generous to even come on here today. It's not like, you know, they don't have a million other things to do. So I want to ask one last question to them. I promise we're staying on the stream. I will get to the questions in this chat because most of it are things that I can answer anyway. So we're going to do one last question to the mentors. We'll rapid fire this one. It's just a fun one. And then we are going to go into our course tour. But before the course tour, I promise I will answer all the questions in this chat. So Christina, we will go back to you first for this one, even though I'm totally out of order now. Yeah, okay. We'll just do the order that we had before. And I guess Elizabeth did have to go. Shoot. Sorry, Elizabeth. So rapid fire one. I just want to know this. You guys have your own practices. All of these people have their own businesses. I am sure you do well enough in those things. It's not like we can pay $1 million a year to be a course mentor, you know, and it's a tough job. You're working with people, all types of people. Some people have different learning styles. I have a public facing role, man, and like sometimes it's tough to do that in front of 200 people. I still wouldn't want to do what you guys are doing because I do consider it one of the most important and tough jobs here. So my question for you, Christina, is of all the things that you can be doing and just doing your own business, why the heck do you still love being a course mentor so much?
I think what FDN does is so powerful. And it was a chance for me to give back to a community that I feel like gave me a alternate route in life. And with that, I'm going to go teach Pilates, Eb.
Okay, thanks, Christina. Nicole, we'll go to you next. All the things that you could do, separate career outside of this. Why do you love being a mentor so much?
I just really love interacting with the trainees. You guys come from all different walks of life, and I find it so interesting to meet all of you. I learn from you just as much as you learn from me. And I really love when getting to see you guys absorb the material and when it clicks in, and you start to be able to apply it. It's just really exciting to see. And I just love teaching and interacting with everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole. Sorry to keep you guys over. Really appreciate you being on today. And Kurt, last but not least, I know that you got to go. So of all the things that you could be doing, business, you have other stuff outside of this, why do you still love being a mentor so much here at FDN?
I love teaching. And I didn't realize that until I started working with FDN. And like Nicole said, you know, I learn a lot from trainees, and I love, one of my favorite things to do. Well, let me back up for a second. You know, I know it sounds cliche to say that we never stop learning, but it's true. And I know that's like a grade school classroom poster, like you never stop learning, but that's what we're doing as FDNs, because I've been in FDN for like 6 years now, and I watch Hot Topics and the replays, and I learn something new every day. I co-host Study Hour, and I learn something new every time I'm on that call. I help co-host the Supplement Squad call, and I learn something new from the other mentors on there. So we're constantly learning. And so I love being able to teach it. And my favorite thing that happens is when I'm actively involved in the graduate group, which I can give you 500 reasons to join the graduate group. But when I'm actively involved in there, and then I have trainees that I worked with, for the last year, helping me with questions I have on a case, or helping me answer questions that I have in there. And that's the best part, is being able to help teach and train somebody that's helping everybody else so much. It's the best way that I could put it into words and articulate it. But I just love teaching it.
I think that's awesome. Guys, thank you seriously so much. I'm sorry to have kept you over. If we could get a final thank you for our wonderful mentors here, I'll let you guys backstage so that you can go do your thing. Remember, we're staying on this live. I will get to your questions right now. I didn't ignore anyone. Just wanted to be respectful to them, because Kurt and Elizabeth got a thing after this. Christina's got Pilates. Nicole's got God knows what. So I just wanted to make sure I'm on time for them. So let's get back to some of these. And forgive me 1 second. I'll get back to where I was at. All right. I don't know if there was anything before this. It's a great question, though, and important. Can you tell me everything that is not included in tuition? That is a fair question. So thankfully, this is a place where we don't hit you with a bunch of weird stuff. All the labs are included in the cost of tuition. All the mentorship sessions are included in the cost of tuition. I'm trying to think of what is not. That'd be the easier thing. If you're U.S. based, the food sensitivity test that you get done, you'll have to pay for the blood draw. So not the test, but the blood draw itself. That's approximately $25 to $50 USD. So you'd have to pay for that. And if you wanted a course textbook, we do not offer a textbook. This is something that's just been done by the trainees throughout time. You can send the slides to, I think it's called Lulu or whatever. My wife's actually created 70 of these for people. We made the very fatal mistake of saying one singular time on a podcast that she made one for herself, and she still gets emails to this day and makes them for people. And she charges $5 for her time for it. That's it, which is very nice. And I think it's $65 total. You also don't need her for it. You can do it yourself. So that is optional. Remember, you do not need a book for this. No one's telling you to print it out. But if you chose to do that yourself, it'd be $60 for that. And when you get your food sensitivity test blood draw, it's going to be $20 for that. Shipping's included in all the other tests. All that's good to go. Oh, I knew I was missing one thing. The only other thing that could possibly come up is when you are going through your protocol, and you get your results and recommendations from your mentor. Remember, the labs were included, but the supplements are unique to anyone or everyone. So if you choose to use some of the supplements, you would pay for them, and you get wholesale pricing, because we're not trying to make money off of you with the supplements. So that is all of the things that will come up that is not included in tuition. So literally everything is right in there for you. And when you buy FDN, you have permanent access to all the updates. Please don't. We mentioned some other courses today. I'm not trying to poke at them. We don't have to mention them again in the chat. I will just say some of the courses that we mentioned today have what I consider very odd policies, that they take away your course after a certain amount of time, even though you paid them. Reed Davis, the founder of FDN, he not only thinks that's ridiculous, he kind of believes in the opposite. He wants his trainees and graduates to be trained at the highest level. So we are constantly updating the course. There is a whole team that their entire job basically every day is, how do we do better on the course? How do we improve this? How do we add stuff? How do we fix things? It's all day for them. And so this course, when I went through 9 years ago, looks dramatically different now. It looks different than 3 years ago. So you not only, when you pay for this course, not only get the course itself and permanent access, you also get permanent access to all of the updates at no additional cost. Permanent access to all the updates at no additional cost. So when I went through this years ago, I won't tell you how much it cost. It was a little bit different than it is today. But again, also the course was very different. I don't pay anything extra, and I still get access to all of the updates, which is really cool. So that is everything that is not included in tuition. I hope that helps. If you include the supplements, that would be the main thing. You're looking at maybe several $100s extra. And if you didn't do the supplements, didn't make the book, and still got your MRT, you're talking $25. MRT is the food sensitivity test. Sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
You're buying the
Sorry that I have to keep
supplements
glancing over. I
too.
have my camera in front of me and then the computer's on the side. What else we got? Oh, this is just a comment here. I think, yes, I had the same thing, or had the same hang up, but I haven't gone through any other program. I'm considering this program because it seems like support is huge and something to leverage. Yes. And you know what? For both of you that talked about your health not being in the place that it's at, here's something that no other course will ever do. I'm going to tell you, don't buy it yet. Even if you're excited about the sale, do not buy it yet. Do me a favor. Come on next week. And this is still free, right? Come on next week and see some of our live case studies. That is where you're going to get to see the difference. I'm glad that you're already seeing that this week. There is nothing better that we could ever give you guys
case
for
study
free
next
than
week?
showing
Let's
you case
go.
studies from some of our top practitioners. You will see exactly how we work. What do we do for the intake? What do the lab results look like? What do the protocols look like? We will have those for you next week. I'm actually even sorry to bring this up because this is very sad, but it is on the schedule. And if you guys are going to go look at that, I don't want you to block this off. Jen Sino, she's on one of our case studies next week. Unfortunately, we're praying for her. Her husband was just in a terrible car accident yesterday, and we're not really sure what's going on with that. So she is not going to be able to present next week. But you will still, the case studies on the calendar from Ryan Monahan, Jennifer Woodward, Bria Gad, all still a go. I'm going to try to fill in another case study for you guys, but the one with Jen Sino, I believe that was on Tuesday. That is on the schedule still. We have not gotten a chance to take that off. She will not be. Okay. What do we got next here? And remember, we're going to be doing a course tour soon, just finishing up some of the questions live, and then we can still ask questions while we're going through the course tour as well.
My God.
All right. This is a nice comment here. Joining Hot Topics brings the module together. Even though I haven't made a live one, I got so much out of them. I can only imagine how much more if I'd get to attend live. Awesome. Glad that you love it. Someone said, Stone to Flesh. Ivana said, time to watch Hot Topics again. Great. My gosh, they love Hot Topics. I wish Elizabeth was still on for this. When I started in July and went to Hot Topics, I had no idea what everyone was talking about. Eventually, I caught up, and now that we are starting over, I'm like, I've got this. Great. And that's what happens. It's supposed to be tough, and then we bring it all together. Oh, thank you, Nitty. She said she pinned some questions. Wasn't there a cost to the business resources? Well, sorry. Yes, and I'm not sure if you're asking this as a direct follow-up to what I was saying about the course itself. So that's a whole separate thing, right? Not everyone needs the business side. So that I wasn't trying to omit something, just to be clear. But that is a separate program in a sense, right? You do not have to do that at all to be an FDN. You don't even have to do it to be a successful FDN. But yeah, if you choose to go through the advanced business training, you can add that on. I mean, that's another $2,400, $2,500. I'm not trying to detract from the business course at all, or the business bundle. I actually really like that kind of stuff. My highest recommendation is to go out and get some clients first before you do the business stuff. And you're like, well, wait a second, Ev, how am I going to get the clients without the business stuff? Just go give talks. Go give talks. We teach you how to give the talks. You just go give them. Like, this still works to this day. I still do these things. I just use what FDN taught me. And we have lecture packages. You do that stuff. And then you can use some of the money that you got from those clients to invest in the business side. Now, I know no one ever is going to say this publicly, but everyone's at different stages of life and has had different outcomes. If someone's in a place right now where they have done very well in their normal job and have a substantial amount of money saved aside, sure, buy the business stuff up front.
I thought it was, but I was like,
it's not really anything to you. It's
is it something
helpful.
different?
I'm just saying, like, if that was the difference between someone going through FDN or not, that's crazy. That's crazy. Go through FDN, go get some clients, and then use some of that money to reinvest into the advanced business side of things. So good question, and I'm sorry I wasn't trying to omit that by any means, but I do consider it a separate thing from the FDN course. All right, let's see what's next. Have a question that I'm not sure how to word. Okay, well, hopefully I can interpret it for you. Curious about the level of detail this course goes into. Example, are we learning the details of metabolic pathways, like the Krebs cycle? Okay, no, that's a fair question. So it is very in-depth, but not necessarily teaching about things like the Krebs cycle. So I'm familiar with that. We don't touch on that in the main course. That is something that's in a lot of our trainings on the graduate side. Guys, remember Elizabeth said it takes about 220 hours right now to get through the course when you're including going through the course again, studying and all that.
The details of the metabolic pathways is on the graduate side? Are you serious, my guy? Dude. What?
Stuff. Well, in the graduate group, we have 1,000 hours of archived advanced content. You don't need all of that to be an FDN. I've never went through all of that. I probably haven't even gone through 100 hours of it. But that's where you can get into some of those things. In terms of the detail of what is taught in the course, more detail than most would expect. So if you haven't been on, you have been on Angel some of the week, so you could probably hear from the grad roundtables where they talk about how, wow, this course was way more in-depth and harder than I expected. And for them, that's a good thing. Another option for you, and I'll put this in the comments for you right here. 1 second, let me go back there. FDNtraining.com/tryFDN. You can actually use that link here, FDNtraining.com/tryFDN. It will let you start the first module for free. Now, the only problem with this is, like, because we're letting you do it for free, it's not like we get into the most in-depth stuff in that Try FDN for free, because then we'd be like giving away our course. That's kind of silly. But you will get an overall feel for it. Just know that what you experience in the Try for FDN, it does get more in-depth. So if you're even kind of okay with the depth that we're going into in that, you will definitely love the main course. That's the best piece of advice I can give right now. The other thing I could say, I guess, is, it's not the best piece, but it's another good piece, is if you are on the case studies next week, I know I keep saying that, but that is when you get to see FDN in action. When you hear those practitioners and what they're able to do because of this program, you're like, whoa, this is different. So don't take my word for it. Don't buy the course before you see it. Come for free next week. Check it out and see if what I said is accurate.
Dude, I can't wait.
Okay.
Dude, I can't wait.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much, Alicia. That actually made me feel really good that you put that in the chat, because I was hoping that it was clear of why I consider the business thing separate. So I'm glad that you get what I'm saying.
Members, we are going to go live this afternoon. Here's what we're doing. 3 reels for Aaron. We're going to watch Aaron Williams and Nick Uncut, and then we're doing our shirt. Hard return, hard pass, #anti-MLM. We're going to load it into the store. We're taking down the Halloween stuff, and then we're potentially updating the logo. So members, get ready if you want to hang out this afternoon. Okay?
Thank you. My gosh, my eyes are so bad. Let me put on my very nerdy glasses. Oh, how much better? How much better? I just look like a dork. That's the only problem. How can I submit my testing for my husband while I'm still on training and not graduated yet? Well, you would not be able to run tests on your husband by yourself while going through the course. That would not be a thing. But quite frankly, there's nothing that stops you from teaming up with like a graduate that's willing to do that. If your husband has something going on and it's really like that serious that you're like, hey, we got to do this urgently.
Go to a doctor.
Get connected with us and we could probably figure out some of that. But just so you know, the labs that are provided to you in the main course, they do need to be ran on yourself while going through it. The only exception is for women, and particularly women who are pregnant. That is the only time that there's an exception, and you do not have to run the labs on yourself and can run it on someone else. Every other time, the labs that we provide have to be ran on you. But if you would like to run other labs outside of that, you could get connected with me or someone else, and it sounds like a reasonable enough request. I'd be happy to help you get that done.
Go to a doctor.
Holly, it's the same price at the beginning versus later, right? Referring to the business add-on. Yes, it is. The only difference, Holly, the only advantage, and I said this yesterday, but I should repeat this probably every session. So the only difference with buying it on the front end would be if someone had a payment plan. So if you're paying in full, there's advantages to that. But in terms of the business side, there's almost no difference of that. You might as well just buy it afterwards. Just being transparent and honest with you guys. If you are on a payment plan and have a strong inclination that you're going to want to do the business side anyway, that is when it would make more sense to consider doing the business bundle with it, because the business bundle can be put into a 24-month payment plan, just like the main course when you're doing that. So now it is substantially cheaper per month than having to buy all the stuff up front. But if you're paying in full, I don't think there's any huge significant thing for that. And if I'm wrong, well, it's on recording, so then I'll have to back this up later and I'll get you figured out. Don't worry. I'm a man of my word. Okay, awesome. Thanks. I probably missed this because I just joined late. What do the practicals entail? The short version, the practicals basically entail one-on-one mentorship where you are going over mock clients. So what that means is you went through all your training, all your the concepts and the theory, if you will, and now we're getting to what does this actually look like in practice. And so the practicals include you getting a client, it's not a real person. It was a real person, but you're not working with a real person now. Don't worry. You're getting their lab results, the names changed and all that stuff. So you have a real case, actual thing that happened, and then you present to your mentor as if they are the client. And then what you do on the next hour, so you spend the first hour doing that. The next hour is spent with your mentor reviewing with you where you can improve, where you did great, what your strengths are. And you know what? It's so cool, man, because
I just discovered this last night. I texted her a little bit, but I'm going to kind of like voice text her the rage. Because I just was like, do-do-do. And she was like, do-do-do. But I haven't texted her the rage of this.
the mentors have so much influence. It sticks with you forever. I will never forget Brandon Mole. I can't remember much of what he said, but I'll never forget. He said, "You know what, Evan? You got the gift of gab." I didn't know what that meant. I never heard that phrase in my life. And it ends up being self-fulfilling because now I get to host these events in the podcast, right? So, when they say something that you need to improve upon, you take it seriously, but they also highlight your strengths. And those are things that stick with you 9 years later because they're authority figures. And, it's kind of nice. It's like your parents saying something good. It sticks with you for a very long time. Last question here, at least that I'm going to answer live. Then we're going to go to the course tour, and I will happily be here with you guys as you ask more questions, and I'll answer them just in the chat. What if I'm not pregnant yet, but by the time I get to them, I'll be going through IVF? Ruby, we're happy to work with that situation, of course. Basically, the bottom line is this. If you are going to be in a position where something, IVF, pregnancy, whatever, is going to be occurring while you are running those labs, that is when the exception would occur. If you are not at any of those phases yet and you have ran the labs or are in the position to run the labs, then obviously that would not be an exception. So if you would like to get that figured out more, we can get you on a call. If you go to, I think we have a link for that. I'm sorry. I think it's a special one for this. So Nitty will drop that in a second. And if she can't do it, then I'll get it for you guys in a moment. Don't worry. But book on with our team. I already told you guys what the sale is for the month. It's $2,000 off for the entire month. So they're not going to hit you with any gimmicks. You can just get on there and have a consultative type of process and let them know your timeline. And they can let you know exactly what that would look like for you. But we can totally accommodate it no matter what it is. It just might look a little bit different. So thank you guys all for that. All right, let's get to the course tour here. So this is a pre-recorded session.
Should we stream the call to see if we want to sign up for this opportunity? Cuz I can make a voice changing situation so it wouldn't sound like me. And Texas is a one-party consent state. You know what I mean? Because I want people to see like how much it's going to cost. Because there's no information really. Because I bet he's going to say, get back with the person who introduced you to this, and you know what I mean? Sorry. Let's go.
But I am still going to be live with you the whole time in the sense of in the chat. So we're going to watch this. Who would want to watch this? This is for anyone that is considering the FDN program this month. So if you're a trainee or grad, thank you guys for being on. There's nothing new that you're going to get from this. But for those of you that are still in the chat considering the program, we are truly going to take you into it right now. We show you things in this next session that only people who are normally already signed up for the course get to see. Remember, our whole point of the Discovery Series is for you to be able to make an informed decision. What better way to do that than to show you the course itself before you ever purchase it? So let's get this playing here. You can ask questions throughout. There is a Q&A that was done in the recorded session that we're
1, 2, 3, 4,
going to be playing for you guys
5,
live as
6.
well. But I will still answer your questions happily in the chat, so feel free to ask them at any point. Let's get this rolling here. Un momento, por favor.
All right. So what you're looking.
All right, I'm going to remove myself here. You're going to be hearing from myself, Brandy Buscow, and all those people. Myrna said thank you, and I decided I will join tomorrow. Awesome. Well, early welcome to FDN, and once I see your name come through, I will make sure to shout you out on our Monday session next week. So if you guys do have to hop off at any point during this session, no worries. Looking forward to seeing you guys bright and early next week. It's not really that early. I don't know why I said that. It depends on the time zone you're in, I guess. But we have a first case study with not only a former clinical advisor here, one of our most successful FDNs, and my business partner, Ryan Monahan. So he will be presenting a thyroid case study on Monday, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys at that time. Enjoy the course tour and ask any questions that you got while we're going through.
Looking at here is what we call our FDN Connect website. This is our internal website that our students and graduates get access to when they enroll in the course. And this is where all their course material lives and all of the resources that they have access to. So the big question is, what happens when I enroll in the FDN course? Well, within about 5-10 minutes of enrolling, you're going to get an email from our team giving you a username and password to log into the site. When you log in for the first time, it's going to bring you here to the dashboard. And what you're going to see is you're going to see this orange button here that says My Courses. And so we're going to go there and I'm going to show you what the course actually looks like. So once you head over here, for most of you, you're only going to see this course here. This is the FDN course. So we're going to click on it and we're going to go in and take a look at what's inside. So on this main page, there's a little bit of a overview of what's included in the course. And then over here on the right is where you're going to see all of the course modules. And within each module, if I click on the dropdown, you'll see that there's also lessons within here and a quiz associated with most of the modules. So the course is laid out so that you go through each module in order because each module builds on itself. And it's separated into...
I mean, the website looks super professional. It's one of the more professional websites we've seen.
Three parts. The first part is where you go over the hows and whys, the academic part. This is where you're going to learn about the FDN methodology, how we're different. We're going to talk about the lab testing, our 5 foundational labs, and we will go over those as I'm going through here. And then we get into, once you've learned the labs, what do you do with that information? How do you create a protocol? So that's the first section. The second section is where you actually get to go over your own personal test results with a mentor. So you get to be your own first client. And that's your opportunity to see what it looks like to be in a session reviewing test results, because that's going to prepare you for the last section of the course, which is the practical session. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to show you inside a little bit module by module. And of course, as Evan said, please put your questions in the chat and we'll make sure that we answer them. So in this welcome module here, this is where you get an introduction from our team. You get to meet Reed. This is where Reed kind of introduces you to the history of FDN, our philosophy, and how we're different. And one of the things I want to point out is that many of the videos that we have are less than 30 minutes. A lot of them are 20 minutes or less. We did that on purpose because we wanted to make sure that we gave you the information in bite-sized pieces. So you had the ability to...
Jessica, this looks like what we set up for Steve. Doesn't it? Oh, it's a WordPress. Why did they, this is a WordPress website. It looks like it's through Thinkific, but it's in WordPress.
Watch, take notes on the slides, and then take a break if you need to. So we've broken it up in several different parts to make it easier for you to digest. So once we get past the welcome module, this is where we start to get into the meat and potatoes. This is where we get into all the information. So module 1 is really the background of this concept that we call metabolic chaos.
We're all health coaches, not a medical approach, unprecedented, chronic health problems, opt-in, model of self-care, cycle of trial and error, FDN, filling the needs gap instead of chasing symptoms. People want to know 3 things. We can say yes. Here's how we work. Holistic grounding program. Transformational process. Anyone can run labs. We don't treat the test results.
And Reed starts going into
Next level health coaches. They're health coaches. Optavia, is that you? Just kidding. Who is the FDN family? What binds us together, family? I'm sorry. What binds us together? Stress is number 1 cause. Is all stress bad? Brain-body diagram. Internal, external types of stress. The chronic stress cascade. Symptoms far removed from real problems.
explain to you what that means.
Metabolic chaos cascade review. What is metabolic chaos? Physiological aspects of metabolic chaos scorecard, how to score, thyroid client, thyroid physiology, thyroid biochemistry and metabolic pathways, old paradigm, hypothyroid, new paradigm, metabolic chaos, are 1 concern, 3 steps to resolving metabolic chaos, what you are going to learn in the course. Step 1, assess hidden stressors and dysfunction. Overview FDN stress and hormone profile, SHP sample test results, cortisol awakening profile, Indican 8-OHDG total bile acids, intestinal permeability, mucosal barrier assessment MBA, sample MBA test results, sample lactose mannitol challenge test, GI pathogen testing, sample stool tests, SIBO testing, metabolic typing test, food sensitivity test. Symptoms and lab results are not the problem.
For you for what to expect in the future modules on all of the testing. And again, as I mentioned, there's quizzes in here. These are multiple choice quizzes. You can take them as many times as you want. They're just here to help you understand or check to see if you understand the material that you just watched. So module 2 is when we start to talk about the first of our 5 foundational labs. So that first test is a salivary hormone test. It's the stress and hormones profile. And module 2 is going into the first of the hormones, which is cortisol and DHEA, really talking about the stress hormones, the stress cascade. We're going to talk about the biology, the physiology, so that you really understand how the systems are working and how they are all affected by stress. Module 3 is when we get into the second part of the stress and hormones profile, and this is where we start talking about the sex hormones. So we start talking about estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and we have a couple of bonus markers in here, 𝗘𝘅𝗽𝗍 and melatonin. And so this one is a little bit of a longer module because there's more to go over, but we're going to give you examples within each of these lessons on what the test results look like, what do the markers mean, and again, you're also going to get some anatomy and physiology behind the hormones and understanding how they work together in harmony or disharmony when you start having symptoms. Module 4 is when we start to talk about the second foundational test, and that is a dried urine test, and it is the...
Basically, she's showing us every single thing that we're looking at. We can go and take a screenshot and then on a Mac you can grab the text and we can see from each module comparatively how close they are to running amok in the medical space, and they're testing what they may end up running into issues with regarding the tests that they're running.
Metabolic wellness profile. This section is talking about detoxification, digestion, and oxidative stress. And so you can see here we start to talk about what that looks like.
She's showing us every single thing they're going through in every single part.
And again, anatomy and physiology, what do the markers mean? And so that you can understand how the system works and why we are looking at the markers that we are looking at on this particular test. Module 5 is where we jump into the third of our 5 foundational tests. This is the mucosal barrier assessment. This is a dry blood spot test. This is looking at zonulin, histamine, and DAO. It also goes into a couple of other intestinal permeability markers. And again, this is a really deep lesson where you're getting into the physiology of the gut lining and the immune system and how they all interact together. So this is a really good in-depth module. Module 6 is the 4th of our 5 foundational tests. This is where we are talking about the GI map stool test. This is all about...
Yeah, the saliva test isn't bad. Some of the tests aren't bad. But it's like, should people who are... I mean, you can ask your doctor about it. Or, I mean, you can ask your nurse practitioner about it. And when I say ask, you can say, I would like to do a saliva test. And then you say, this is the test that I would like to do. And you can say the exact name of what it's called and why you want to do it. Yeah, I know it's boring. It's interesting, though, because we know every single thing that they are selling. And is it worth the cost? Because we're going to be able to grab all this, and when we make the call, when we are going to be streaming the call where they're going to be pitching me the cost of the program, we're going to be able to be super plugged in about what they're going to be selling, which is going to be awesome.
Pathogens. This is probably the biggest module that we have in the course because there's a lot of information to cover. And so we're going to talk about bacterial infections, fungal infections, parasites, candida, and so on, and then some other digestive health markers. So this is a very long module, but there's a lot of great information in here. After Module 6, we give you a little bit of a break, and we let you start to learn about the importance of intake forms. And so we go over our philosophy on intake forms, and this is where you actually get to fill out your intake forms.
She's super monotone.
As a client going through the FDN process. And what I didn't mention off the top is when you enroll in the course, we are going to send you all 5 of the test kits as part of your tuition. So you will get those kits sent to your home. And this is about the time here around Module 6 that you're going to get a reminder from our team, hey, it's time to start collecting your samples so that you can get them back to the lab and we can get your test results in time for Module 14, where you're going to get to review them with a mentor. So it's at this point also where you start to look at the intake forms. Once we've done the documentation section, we move on to Module 7, and this is where we cover the 5th of the 5 foundational tests, and this is food sensitivity testing. So the one that we prefer and that we like is the LEAP MRT test. Now, if you are somebody who is not in the US, so you're in Canada, Europe, Australia, anywhere else outside of the US, we also cover dry blood spot testing for food sensitivity testing, and this module goes into all the different types of testing, but also the different types of immune reactions that your body can have to food, and this is a really, really great, I actually really enjoy this module. It's a good one. Module 8 is where we start to talk about, this is a bonus assessment. So it's not a test, but it is an online assessment helping you to understand the concept of metabolic typing. What is your metabolic type? Do you thrive on a diet that is higher in protein and lower in carbs to make you feel better? Or are you somebody that does better with more carbs? Or are you one of those people that really thrives on a balance of both? So we start to explain this concept behind metabolic typing and how we use it in FDN. And this is where you're actually going to get to do the metabolic typing assessment on yourself. And you'll get to meet with a mentor for the first time to go over those test results so you can start to put into practice what you've learned and start to make changes to your diet and see how you feel before you get to the rest of your test results. Once we've completed Module 8, this is when we go into our 5 pillars of lifestyle. This is the protocol section. So for those of you that are new, our 5 pillars, you can, if you put your fingers up, there's 5 fingers, and they are DRESS, so diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplementation. So we have a module on all of those. They're pretty self-explanatory. I do want to show you a little bit here in Module 13 where we talk about supplementation. This was split into 2. So the first module is the hows and whys of supplementation, but we really dig deep into supplement quality, how to look for research-backed supplements, ingredients, herbs.
That's
versus,
the guy.
you know,
Reed?
other ingredients, blend.
This is the guy right here. That's the guy who's the founder of this program. So Ev has been in this for 10 years. Reed's the guy who's been doing it for 18 years.
FDNs versus single ingredient supplements, delivery mechanisms, topical, sublingual, capsule form, liposomal form. So we talk about all of those things. So this is kind of the hows and whys of supplementation. And then the second part, 13B, is where we actually teach you how to create a protocol. So that was split into 2 sections because there's a lot of information in there. Once you've completed Module 13, this is where you get to see it all in practice, and we give you a couple of case studies to watch where our mentor team is presenting case studies from start to finish and showing you what it looks like in action. This is also where you're going to get a note from our team letting you know, congratulations, it's time for you to book your first results and recommendation session where you get to go over your personal test results with a mentor. They're going to explain them to you, they're going to give you a protocol, and you're going to experience what it looks like to be a client. Module 15 is where we give you a little bit of business training. So, what does it look like when you start working with clients? How do you onboard them? How do you get started? And so this is a really good section as well. And then Module 16, this is the very last module, and this is where you're doing the practicals. So you are meeting with a mentor over Zoom, and you are going through mock case studies. So we give you the case study, and you are presenting to the mentor as if they are your client, your findings. This is your opportunity to practice what you've just learned, and you get to do this 6 times before you graduate so that you feel confident when you've graduated, you know what you're doing. These sessions are meant for you to learn. They're not meant for you to be scared of doing. The mentors are very helpful, and if you can get past the practicals, you will have no problem passing the final exam or passing the oral exam because these prepare you for those exams. So this section of the course takes about 2 months. The rest of the course you can do as fast or as slow as you need to. We give you 12 months to complete the course. It's taking on average 6 to 8 months right now. But I think the fastest at this point we've seen somebody go through is about 4 months. And that was 2 months on all of the information I just showed you here above and 2 months just on this practical session because we have you space them apart for a reason. Once you've completed the practicals, then you get to submit your written final, which is an open book exam. So you get to download this and work on it. And if it takes you a week to fill it out, that's totally fine. You submit your written exam. It is marked. You do need to get at least an 80% or higher. And I will tell you, we have a very high success rate, over 90%. Actually, it's more like 95% passing rate. And so once you pass your written exam, you will get an invitation to do your oral final, which is a 30-minute session
what you would listen
with
to
our
go to
mentor
sleep.
Tess. And this is where Tess is just asking you questions about the FDN course, key concepts. If you've gotten
The
through
Dutch
practicals,
test?
you will have no problem completing the oral exam. At that point, Tess gets to congratulate you and officially tell you that you are
Dude,
an
we're
FDN
never going to
graduate
catch up.
and you have completed the course. The final step in completing the course in order for you to get your certificate is you will be booking a post-grad interview. This is an interview that you can do with Reed or a couple of other members of the team, and this is where we get your feedback. So we ask you questions about your experience in the course, and we take that feedback and we use it to update the course materials. Once you are done, you are officially a graduate and you are off and running and you're able to start working with clients. So I do want to talk about ways that you can get support, but I'm going to just take a pause. Evan, is there any questions we should address right now before I talk about support while you're in the course?
I'll cover one just to give you a half a second break here, but I did answer them in the chat. So someone had asked, is the online metabolic typing test included in tuition? So yes, Julie, that's a good question. It is included in tuition for anyone wondering, in addition to 5 of the foundational tests.
Okay, we're going to take a detour. Providers know that hormonal shifts can significantly impact a patient's overall health and well-being. That's why we've created the gold standard of hormone metabolite testing. Oh my God, 4 lines. We are Dutch. Our mission to empower providers to address complex hormonal issues, enhance patient outcomes, and improve lives. Simply better testing. Oh my God, it's a blue on this monitor. What color do y'all see? Do y'all see blue on your end, or do you see like brownish? Because if you see brownish, I'm changing the color of this monitor immediately. Dusty beige? Okay, I'm going to change to the color of this one. Please hold. All right. HS. Sorry. Ugh. I'm green. Why won't it let me? Got it. Let's go. It was the Hertz. Now it looks awful. All right. I'm like trying to match it. All right. We're good. A weird greenish brown. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Greenish brown. Dang it, it looks grayish brown now. Ugh. I changed it to 50 Hertz. And now it's like just trying to match it. Don't fall asleep. God, my medication's so off right now. Greenish brown. Let's try 30 Hertz. Oh, you're good. Y'all shouldn't see the difference. It's gonna be on my end. It's just my end. It needs to be like, I can't afford a new monitor right now because I'm paying for something else that's like super important. I need to be able to have the monitor that y'all see match the monitor on this screen. So anyways, the Dutch difference, founded in 2012 by Mark Newman, MS. The Dutch test was created to revolutionize hormone health care and elevate patient outcomes. I'll let y'all read. Let me move myself so y'all can read. Come on, caffeine, let's go. I don't know what kind of, uh-oh. I lost my needle. I don't know what type of, microphone Polite Demon Lawyer's supposed to have, but like, I feel like the hammer's pretty on point. Oh God. What is it? Why don't people like the Dutch test? Why don't doctors like the Dutch test? Abby Langer. Dutch is an acronym for dried urine test for comprehensive hormones, like y'all said in the chat. Hi, Tori. Precision Analytics claims that millions of women suffer from hormone imbalances, whether it's menopause, weight gain, fatigue, low libido, premenstrual symptoms, mood swings, or depression. These symptoms can lead to more serious problems if misdiagnosed. Identifying the root cause of chronic health issues is certainly correctable, but only if properly identified. Every time I see the words root cause, it's a red flag. This is a popular phrase used by a lot of alternative providers to suggest that unlike conventional providers, they find what's causing symptoms instead of treating them with medication. Nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. To suggest that conventional medicine is only interested in prescribing drugs and not treating the cause of illness is completely egregious in my opinion, and it creates an us versus them mentality that hurts, not helps patients. In their rebuttal, Precision Analytics implies that conventional docs don't understand the value in the markers that Dutch provides, because they haven't been trained on them. Scientific research highlights the clinical utility of cortisol metabolites, though it is true that conventional medical doctors without training on these markers do not find them useful or necessary. It's interesting to me that PA would imply that endocrinologists and gynecologists don't know the usefulness of these markers, but far less schooled, and one could argue qualified providers like naturopaths and dietitians can do the training provided by physician's assistants to administer Dutch testing and ostensibly become experts. Let me put this link in the chat. Replay crew, if the chat hasn't populated, just wait maybe a couple of hours until it does. So, anyways, there are a lot of links. Clinical advisor. FDN has 8 clinical advisors on staff, and each of them offer a unique perspective into your client cases. Working with a clinical advisor can increase client success rate and your confidence in practicing FDN. Dear God. Oh, what? We're going to watch this.
Our advanced courses, and Evan, I know you like to call them intensive, but I wanted to show this because once you go through the FDN course, we want to give you as much training as you could ever want. So what you learn in the FDN course is everything you're ever going to need to help a client. You do not need anything more, because regardless of, let's say you decide to, I don't know, work on
Advanced heart health, functional blood chemistry analysis, oxalates, small intestine bacterial overgrowth, Qigong, an advanced guide to mitochondria, foundations of herbalism,
or organic acids,
organic acids, coaching skills and teaching emotional wellness.
You have to do the
blood sugar management, also known as diabetes.
Foundations first. But there are some clients that doing the foundations maybe only gets them 60% of the way there, 70% of the way there. And so because you have access to all this testing, we want to give you the education that goes along with that. And so we created these, we call them advanced courses.
Oh, precision analytics in this context. Thank you, Marie.
Very specific to one topic, generally 10 hours or less. And they are there for you to advance your training if you want to. And they all tie back to the FDN philosophy and the FDN principle. And we have a growing
scientific literacy, thyroid function, Lyme, from basics to breakthroughs, mastering methylation, weight loss. Dude, the FTC is going to have a fucking heyday.
I purposely paused this. Sorry to interrupt, guys. I just want to make one thing clear because it came up in the chat. It's a good question. So Dana had asked, what is the total typical cost to the FDN for the foundational labs done on most clients? And then I had answered with, if you started with all the foundational labs, so assuming that a client was going to do all the labs right up front, you'd be looking at around $1,200 USD. Now, we never sell the labs separately. What you're taught to do as an FDN is you're usually selling around $3,000 to $4,000 packages that are going to be over several months, and that includes the cost of the labs. So that's how we do it. And then the follow-up here from Dana that I think is really important. Does that include the fees for the medical director program or just the lab costs? So, well, this is good news, but I just don't want it to be confusing. So most of the foundational labs don't actually have a medical director program fee. And I know that seems counterintuitive. It's like, well, wait, why would those not have it? It's because we have such good relationships with those places that we're able, like, for example, 𝗧𝗏𝗃 is a lab that you'll learn about in the main course. It makes up 3 of our 5 foundational labs. They actually trust our process enough that you can get an account directly with them. So there's no medical director fee for any of their tests. You don't have to pay the $65, even though you get that clinical consult with the $65 every time. That's great. But no, you don't have to do that. The GI map, if you order that through the medical director program, that does include that will require a $65 fee. But we have partnerships with Avexia now and DHA labs. You don't need to use the medical director program for the GI map anymore, which is another foundational lab that we have. The final foundational lab that we have is a food sensitivity test. It is different by country. Every country actually has a different food sensitivity test for us, so it's one of the more unique tests. But in the United States, the MRT, there is no medical director program fee. That is also something that you can get an account with. So believe it or not, with our foundational,
they have a lab that they're running through. I skipped a little bit because my spoons are running out, but I can put the transcript in the live chat after I run it. I skipped a little bit. I'm sorry. They have a relationship with the lab because they're running so many labs. They get a discount.
Labs, you will never have to or be forced to pay a medical director program fee unless you are in certain countries, and in that case, it would only be for 1 or 2 labs. It's not like a main thing by any means. So I just wanted to make sure that's all clear for everyone. So in my business, if I'm selling a $4,000 package, and I usually want those medical director program consults just to dot I's and cross T's, then I'm going to just budget that $65 in for myself. And I just know that I'm going to use that at some point just to get the extra support. I don't always need that, but it's nice to have it. Things have changed for me a little bit since this video was done. I partnered in business with a guy named Ryan Monahan, and he was a former clinical advisor here at FDN. So of course, you can understand why I partnered with him. And I get to use him for a lot of the stuff with the more advanced clinical things. So hope all that makes sense. Just wanted to say it out loud so people understand the medical director program fee is typically being used for labs, all these other advanced labs that you have access to that are not the foundational labs.
We've got several here, and we actually have 6 more in the pipeline that we were releasing in the
Mastering mold illness, pediatric supplementation, immune system health. You're telling me that you're not behaving like a medical doctor? Come on, dude. Give me a fucking break. You're not behaving like a medical doctor? Come on. You're not behaving like a medical doctor? Critical thinking, mastering client transformation, mastering brain chemistry, weight loss. Come on.
We also pride ourselves on is bringing you more education to expand your knowledge.
I think I'm okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this link in the live chat for y'all. Because I'm sure they're done streaming by now. Because I want to save some spoons for the members only. Because they've put the link in I think they put the link in YouTube by now. I'm going to go grab some spoons for myself. Y'all grab some spoons too. I need to go take some pain meds big time. And then I'll probably be back on stream around 1:30 or 2 for members only. And then we may do Bomb Party stream tonight. I don't know. I want to craft. He's definitely cosplaying as a medical doctor. He's doing something.
As a practitioner after you graduate and you've gotten the foundations in place. So that is what I have here for a sneak peek behind the curtain of what is available and how we're different. Let's jump into questions.
Awesome. We already had a few waiting, so thank you all. Some of you tuned in a little late. That's no problem. What we're doing here is we're going over our course tour. So we kind of just give you guys an insider look. Typically, you'd have to be, as you can tell, logged in and already have purchased the course to see all that stuff. And the way that we look at it, we were just finishing up talking about community, really. And we wouldn't want someone to be in our community that doesn't want to be here. So we kind of like to do these transparent things and show you guys things that a lot of other places don't, just so that you can make an informed decision if you're looking at the course. All right,
it's 12:23.
Ones that we just missed.
So 2 p.m. would be in a hour and a half. So yeah, so an hour and a half. And I'll put the stream up so y'all can see the countdown. I'll put the stream up after this one ends.
Juliet said, can we go over what lab tests we do have access to, particularly? Well, we have access to OAT, Dutch, GIMAP, HTMA tests, things from Genova. So, Julie, I'll make it simple for you in this sense. We have access 100% to everything that you just said there. And really, I would almost be hard-pressed to find the one that we don't have access to. Like, as someone that has done this for years, I have never come close to using all the tests that we have access to, especially now with 𝗧𝗿𝗄𝗏 being added on. I don't think I ever will come close, and I've never had the thing where I couldn't go get. So if you'd like to list off more specifics, I'm happy to do a yes and no with them. But Brandy, you would be way better at this than me. Is there anything or like a category or a company that is completely omitted that people typically ask for, just so we can be fully transparent for Julie?
We did get a lot of questions about genomics. Now, there is genomics testing through 𝗧𝗿𝗄𝗏, and we don't offer it through the medical director program. The reason we have it is there's so many on the market, and we are trying to find the one that makes
We'll
sense
miss you,
for
Marie.
us.
Thanks so much.
It's not that we don't value genetic testing, but you also have to
Marie, message me on Instagram.
Genetics is you may have the SNP, but it's the lifestyle factors that you do that what turn that SNP on or off, or turn that mutation on or off. So the way that we teach is let's get the foundations in first. Let's clean up lifestyle. Let's do the things that we know can turn a mutation on or off. And then if you want to add the genetics in later, maybe to find even more in depth, like how should you be working out? Or, maybe you need to focus a little bit more on certain micronutrients because that's what your genetics state. That's great. But that's the only reason why we don't teach it is because it's kind of advanced testing. It's digging deeper above the foundationals. But I do know there are some available through 𝗧𝗿𝗄𝗏. So I think for the most part with 𝗧𝗿𝗄𝗏, we've covered everything in terms of testing.
Zara gave you, I don't know if you saw that on the video, gave you a thumbs up to that answer. So also asked, I want to make sure I'm doing things the right way. If I work with clients outside the US, how does licensing work? And will I be able to order tests for them? Or what's the best way to handle that? So let's start with the test side. This is one of the major problems for people in the market that our medical director program solves. So if I'm in the US and I have a client in Australia, or I have a client in the UK, or I have a client in Canada, I can use the medical director program to handle all of those clients. And I want to make sure, because the only thing I wanted to go into here is this person asked about licensing. So I don't think that they mean we have the licensing, like specifically as FDNs, but do you want to touch on like why do I? All right, folks, Audio Detective Ebb is back again. I feel so bad because people are saying that the answers get cut off for them for some reason, which really stinks. So I guess we're doing a Q&A here anyway in terms of the pre-recorded Q&A, so I can still help out with some stuff like this. So let me do this right here. And actually, I wanted to kind of explain this anyway. I just didn't want to interrupt again. So Angelique, if you're ordering 4 tests through FDN, do you pay $65 per test?
Or do you have Instagram, right?
No, because there really wouldn't be a case that would be relevant. And here's what I mean by that. So as we already explained, if you're ordering the foundational labs, you don't need a medical director fee for that at all. So that's no big deal. Now, if you were ordering 4 tests through FDN, that would mean that you're ordering them all through the medical director program. All of them are not foundational labs. And then, yes, in that case, you would pay $65 each time. But the reason I'm saying that, like, if it's because that's not, the good news is, like, that's not a real situation. No one would ever really do that. If someone was advanced enough as a practitioner that they're ordering 4 or 5 tests at a time, none of which are the foundationals. First of all, that would probably take a couple of years before you're experienced enough, generally speaking, to go and do that. But second, you could just be partnered with 𝗧𝗍𝗂 then, and you don't have to pay any medical director program fee to us. So you could just use 𝗧𝗍𝗂, which we have a direct partnership with, and you're able to use them instead. So you're not forced to get the medical director program. So no, I can't really think of a case where anyone would do that. If you are a brand new FDN, this is totally optional. Can't stress this enough. But if you are a brand new FDN that wants a lot of extra support, and you know what, you're like, I'm nervous. I know I graduated. I know they wouldn't let me graduate if I wasn't qualified, but I'm super nervous and I want all this help with stuff. We do have longer clinical advising sessions.
Oh my God,
it's
his
like a
internet.
1.5 hour one, which lets you submit like 5 labs for that. And basically the clinical advisor will go over the whole case with you. So this is really cool. You know, we were talking about imposter syndrome earlier today. What a great way to fight that, right? So if you can, sell the client on your program and services, you will have all the resources to be able to deliver on your promises to them and to support them. So let's break down some math really quick. If I have a $4,000 program that I'm selling, and that person got $1,200 worth of labs. All right, well, now I'm at $2,800 for me. If I wanted to do a 90-minute session with a clinical advisor to go over all the labs, foundational or not, I can actually purchase that separately. I think that one's like $180, $150.
What is going on? Oh my God.
Not misspeaking. So are there any, like, off the top of your head, Brandy, that you could never get direct to consumer that you could get through us?
I don't think
There's
so.
definitely-
But one of the things I was thinking is that even some of the labs, like if you just take Dutch, for instance, I think if you go directly to Dutch, not as a practitioner, you're paying twice as much as we would pay, or what we could pass along to our clients. Same with the MRT. Like if you were to just go and order that off the street, it's like $200 or $300 more than what we as a practitioner could get for our clients. So most of what the direct to consumer is, it's like blood work. From what I can see, and then food sensitivity testing. But then the other side of that is they're not getting interpretation. They're not getting any support with that testing.
Yes. Then Julie went on to ask about, like, what about basic labs? So this is all blood work for those who don't know, like CBC, CMP, blood glucose, etc. So Julie, what's kind of funny about this is, well, to give you a direct answer, yes, but with the asterisk of, like, you can't do this. That would be the one thing, like, I can't get blood work for someone in Germany, or I can't do that for someone in Australia. Those are things that, again, are all direct to consumer. We can't override the blood work. Like New Jersey, for example, doesn't allow the direct to consumer stuff with that. We can't override that. So ironically, the one thing that most people can get access to through their insurance, thank God, is the probably thing that we would have the most tough time with. Now, I know sometimes you want like a full thyroid panel. What we can do is we can educate our clients so that they can be empowered to maybe go to their doctor and ask for a full thyroid panel or certain markers. Obviously, that's not a medical recommendation from us. It's just saying, hey, it'd be cool if you asked for this. But yes, there's a few states in the United States where there's nothing you can really do about the blood work side. And then a lot of the countries around the world, that'd be pretty tough. Like, I don't think we can do that at all in Canada, for example, right?
Not yet. Not how I handle it with my clients in Canada is I just have them go to their doctor and get regular blood work. And I might just say, hey, just say you're dealing with a lot of fatigue and ask them to check your iron or ask them to check your thyroid. So they can go and get that from their doctor. It's easy for them to bring. Now, we do not cover blood chemistry in the course. And again, the reason for that is blood chemistry is great. Actually use it all the time. If I'm going to tell you any advanced course to take the advanced blood chemistry course because it's helpful. But when I review somebody's blood chemistry, it doesn't give me the answers to what's going on. It usually leads to more questions. So I actually use looking at blood chemistry as a leader product, leading them into my package, because it always leads to, okay, now we need to find out what's going on with your adrenals. We got to find out what's going on with your gut, because these markers are just telling me their dysfunction, but it's not telling me why. So it's valuable, but that's why we don't teach it in the course, because it's not actually giving us clear information. Hopefully that makes sense.
What about your doctor? Okay. Fuckery is afoot. We got it. Okay. I know everyone's interested. I'm gonna put this link in the live chat. I'm gonna go ahead and put this link. I know. I'm gonna go ahead and put this link over in the description. Please do not touch the poop. Keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times. Even though I've messed up this in Chrome. Edit. Watch their stream unadulterated. Please. FDN. All right. Marie, I messaged you on IG. I will schedule the stream. I may be 10 to 15 minutes late. So we're doing 3 reels for Aaron. We're doing the Pomodoro method, so working for an hour, Aaron and Nick Uncut, working for an hour, you get the drill. We're making the t-shirt. We are making we may be remaking the logo, because we are going to put the logo on the t-shirt, just small, not annoying. And we're going to, the reason I went with the company I did for the clothing is because sensory friendly. And, yeah, see members at 2. Thanks for joining me. Fuckery is afoot. We'll see the case studies on Tuesday. I will schedule that as well if you want to join me. Did I give away? I think I gave away my memberships. Did I give away my memberships? We'll see. Okay. I'll see you later. Bye. Oh, we may be doing a bomb party stream tonight, so set up your crafts. All right. Bye.